Launched in, yeah. How you feeling? How you feeling about getting on your first stream, Lewis?
Okay.
That's
Ready
right.
to I want to see Amza do something cool, you know?
Mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for you to do something cool.
The Vizargo.
Yeah.
Do a Serenity when we
Do
really
it, yeah,
need it.
exactly. Do that big claw swipe. Wipe out 200 million.
No, it's always exciting to get to see people play and like to see how good they are, because it's like you never know. Like you never know how good someone's actually going to be at the game and like what they can do, and also even their play styles. Like when we were watching Josh and Kyle, they both had like pretty different play styles, even though they got like roughly the same score at the end. So it's like,
Right.
oh, I guess you're kind of
true.
got the same level-ish, but like one was much more a StarCraft RTS sweat, and Josh was much more deliberate and just playing more cash. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Age of Darkness stream. My name is Alex, I'm the social and community manager here for Age of Darkness, and I am back with...
I'm Nicholas, game designer, worked on Age of Darkness a few years ago, so good to be back. I was here last week on the campaign, and I'm excited to smash out some multiplayer with Lewis.
Yeah. G'day, welcome. I'm here. It's pretty cool.
And what do you do, Lewis?
Good old QA, yeah.
Yeah, so Lewis is a QA. Welcome to the stream. Super excited to have you here. So we're going to be playing some Age of Darkness multiplayer. We're getting back into it. Do you guys want to talk about which heroes you've picked and why?
Okay, so I picked Vizargo because Vizargo is my boy. I've always been Voltus, back early on when we were designing out the factions. I always loved what the Voltus were. So, and Vizargo was the first basically champion of the Voltus faction that we built out. So he was also like one of the first very kind of magical, very like interesting, different kind of character, which is why I really vibed with him. He had his his claw dash, the serenity, like how he was all about the dark essence and everything. So I really love that about him. So that's why I pick him, and he has a holds a special place in my heart for later on in the campaign as well. So.
Yeah, amazing. And let's also say hey to Rupert PT. Hello, welcome to the stream. And Devella 233. Hey, just have to say I love this game. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We love this game too.
Yeah. It's pretty sick.
And Lewis, do you want to speak about your love for Aurelia?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe you have pure disdain. Maybe you're like, I picked it out of vengeance. We don't know. Let's hear the take.
I'm a big fan of it in campaign, and I think, if you haven't played it, definitely jump in. You'll be surprised with what happens in it.
Yes,
but-
spoilers. Something happens.
Something
that
happens.
You could be surprised by.
But no, she's a very chaotic play style, I find, especially at close quarters. You can drop all of her AoE abilities and boost up, I guess, Volatus units, which is pretty good. Like, we've got Vizargo as well, so I'll be boosting.
Oh yeah, we'll be
of
sending some harbingers your way.
exactly. So we'll do some team ups there, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
But yeah, so it's pretty sick.
Alrighty.
Amazing. So one of the things we're going to do today that's going to be a little bit different is we're actually going to play with some hardships. I'm going to show those off. So, Lewis, if you want to drop into the menu.
Custom.
Yeah, we go custom, and this is where you can change. If you're looking to change game duration, extend out how many, nights you have between the death nights. This is also the menu that you can do that in, because we get that question quite a lot. So I just wanted to drop a mention here. But we've talked a little bit about the hardships. Which ones are you guys going to go with today?
Yeah,
We had like a little bit of a debrief before what we're gonna pick. So what do you think, Lewis?
Inside baseball, there was a conversation
there
about
was
this
a
before.
there
Well,
was some strategy.
Amza, do you want to talk about like what hardships are more generally?
Yeah. So hardships are this like kind of cool little extra feature that we added to the survival mode and in multiplayer as well, where there are these little extra challenges that you can do in the game to increase your score. Right. So as you can see, as you go over the different ones, you have a different score multiplier that it will add to your default to make the game just more. It makes it harder, but also gives you more bonuses. And each of these hardships do something particular in the main game. So, for example, the first one with Heroless, now you're basically playing the game without a hero. So you don't have that kind of hero bonus. You just have to rely on your army and building out like your fort and whatnot. But you get a small multiplier.
Yeah.
And depending on how crazy the the hardship is you get more of a multiplier. So, for example, the last one, which is Permanent Empire, you can't even sell your buildings anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is wild, because it's like you make one bad placement and you're screwed.
Yeah.
But it's a really big score multiplier, because we know that one does make a lot of, you have to think a lot, and it's a lot more scary.
It's a good one, and we talked about before. We were like, oh, maybe we do this one, and I was like, I have seen in both iterations of the multiplayer live streams that we do, people accidentally box the other person's hero in, and situations where it's like
It's over.
nightmares aren't coming for a while. Like you're gonna have to hope and pray that they get there, and you can sort of actually get your buildings destroyed so they can get out. And it's like having your hero boxed in it's pretty brutal. You could be there for 30 minutes just hanging out, being like, I guess I'll start a new army and wait until they get freed.
Goddamn.
So in multiplayer, that one's like very, very dangerous.
But it's pretty good for score-wise. So
It's good for score. I mean, so one of the crazy things, we just put up a poll in the Discord. Join the Discord if you're not there already. And if you're from the Discord, welcome. Hey. We put up a poll that was like, what's the hardest difficulty you've played on? So we did like, I haven't beat the game yet, but I'm going to get there. And then it's like easy, normal, veteran, horrific, nightmare. And then it was like 8.8, which is like, that's for the crazy people that play on Nightmare with every single hardship. And there's some absolutely insane people from the community that do that with challenges, with self-imposed challenges of like, oh, I'm only going to use melee units or stuff like that. And you're like, it's one of those things where when you play Age of Darkness, massive respect. But like when you play Age of Darkness, you're like, man, this game's really tough. It's challenging. Like I keep losing. And then you see people playing with like on the hardest with every hardship, only using like pikemen. And you're like, right. So I guess it's possible. It's not like an impossible game. Like there's codes that can be cracked, and they'll do it on like any seed. They don't even need to put in like a really specific seed. And it's like, oh, okay. And it makes you realize like this game is very, very conquerable. And I think it's cool. It's inspiring. For me personally, as someone who, like, no one's going to confirm this, is a legendarily good player and is crushing it on 8.8 as well, and it got me there.
I think that adds to the whole goal of the replayability that we wanted. So, you know, you really get to play with different difficulties and and make it harder, but then the hardships just adds this whole extra element of replayability.
Which you can experiment, and like on survival, there's Veil Bond, which you can play as 2 heroes, which
My fave.
is pretty sick. And
exactly. Yeah.
definitely like helps with playing these hardships. Trying to master them.
And the hardships, like, you know, they're not always just about, oh, we're going to make the game really difficult, really hard for you. It's like, how can we create really interesting moments? So, like actually having that thing, we have 2 heroes, like, that's a cool idea.
That's
like,
sick.
what does that feel like? Like, can I have 2 Volts as heroes, you know? So,
I mean, I think it's the same thing with Malices, where it's like, they make the game tricky, but it's also like, it just changes the play style of the game. So it's like, oh, this is different from last time. And I think Hardships lean into that, where it's like, they're hard, but they kind of like maybe make you adopt a different play style or whatever. So like, there's one, like, well, that we're looking at now, it's like, oh, Elite Nightmares may appear during Death Knight. So it's like, oh, okay, maybe I need to build more like specific towers, like ballistas that can focus down stronger enemies faster, like whatever, like small things like that, which is really cool. So let's talk about the ones that we are gonna pick.
What are we picking?
I think we're going with Encroaching Darkness. I always love this because every single I guess at the night the Val comes in every time, and it's always a bit scary when you're like, oh, it's happening.
Not for Volus.
No, so it's kind of good that we've done that. Because we get bonus like, I guess, stats when we're horrified. So I think we can play with that, which might help us when we're doing Dangerously Familiar, which is I guess is pretty cool. I've seen some very funny things in the office while we're playtesting, with like nightmares coming to the base, and you're like, what do we do? How are we going to deal with this? So like kiting, I think we'll probably figure that out while we're playtesting.
I'm calling the shot right now that someone's accidentally going to get that, and there's going to be help. No. Have an elite coming.
Save you again.
So we'll definitely plan around that. For today.
Cool.
But,
let's save that. Let's
save.
Let's rickety rock and roll.
Cool.
Let me quickly, before you do this,
Yeah.
let's see if I can change this so we can get the chat up there.
Cool.
Should be able to. Yeah, there we go. Great. But I will read out the chat messages, and that just lets you guys see as well. You just want to click back on the screen.
Cool.
Anywhere, and then let's rickety rock and roll.
Did
and
you want to switch heroes? Because we switched over, so... Oh,
Oh no, I am Vizargo.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
guys, it's already happening. All right.
Confusion.
Welcome back,
good.
Alan
I got
Rush.
this.
Legend, wonderful to see you again. How curious, stream playing with Vizargo and I just won with him. Alan, we were watching you play in
Let's
our hearts
go.
and minds, and that's how we identified that. You inspired us. But hey. Welcome to the stream, Verenatix TTV. Hey, I just want to say my first survival type game, and it's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh,
Starting with Age of Darkness
That's based.
is absolutely based. Is bold, is kind of crazy. Have you managed to get a win yet? And I say that like as a very legitimate question because it's a tricky game, and if it's your first type, then you know maybe you're going to struggle a bit. But yeah, no, welcome to the Age of Darkness, welcome to the stream. Bakura Clan, welcome to the stream. I hope the abilities don't crash your guys' games. Hey guys, hey, never gonna happen. Never had a single crash in Age of Darkness, never seen it once. It's gonna be nothing but clean. That's kind of a crazy tree choke right off the bat.
I think we've done pretty well here in terms of getting a good seed for multiplayer. Because I always struggle finding good wood supply early, but I think we've got it.
We actually got that.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be, it looks like there's 220 plus there. One in that choke and then one to the right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll definitely help.
Love playing Merrick though. I mean, Merrick is 22. Oh, called it.
22?
Merrick is 22. What?
No, 22 wood.
Oh, right.
yeah.
Oh, he's 22. Merrick's 22 years old.
Yeah, that's canon. That's canon.
Crazy.
Lock it in. Hamza, you're a designer. You can make those choices.
Yeah, I can just change it up.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a crazy world. He's looking a bit haggard. Yeah, I love playing Merrick as well. He's a good one. Yeah. Alan Rush, do you want to join the cult that worships Merrick? I think we're all in the cult that worships Merrick. I mean, shout out to our producer Yuda, who I think is definitely on the team, maybe the #1 Merrick fan. Certainly up there.
He's definitely up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, big community fan for Merrick. Can we get a Merrick in the chat, please?
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, other than the campaign version of him. Yeah, he's a bit of a jerk in the campaign. You're not wrong, Bakura.
Definitely not wrong.
I mean, I feel like quite a few people are like kind of low-key jerks in the campaign. Like even Edward's kind of a jerk. Like everyone has that edge, and I mean, you can probably talk to it more, Nicholas. Where it's like that thing of, it's a dark world. Like it's hard. It's like people up against it. These are brutal circumstances. And like everyone is rather reasonably a little bit broken and over it. And there's that maybe a softness that would be there if this was, you know, a farming sim type world, but it's not. And it's like people are hardened, people are broken, people are like, you know, whatever. And we talked about it when we were going through the campaign last week. Check out that stream on the YouTube channel or on our Twitch. That it's like Edwin's definitely got that sort of gruff, like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen a lot of towns get sacked. I've seen a lot of people die. I've seen a lot of like brutal things happen, and my energy towards it is lower. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I think that's one of the cool things where it's like a lot of the characters, and spoilers of something that happens to Aurelia and Vizargo, where it's like maybe there is a greater level of idealism and sort of like, this is what I want the world to be, and then dealing with the sort of wars, dealing with the nightmares, and seeing how that breaks them and how they respond to that. Do they become more idealistic, or like do they rebel against the system? Do they become more sort of authoritarian, like kind of you see with the Order, or do they like go to the dark side and go like, this is actually the way, like we have to embrace this darkness and we have to engage with the world on this level if this is what the world is. And it's really interesting that it's like everyone's perspective is kind of understandable, not necessarily endorsable, but like it's not like people like Vizargo or Aurelia. You're like, why are you doing that? That's crazy. It's like, oh, I kind of get it. Like, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But Merrick is a jerk. I agree. In summation, in this essay, I will. Hey Keller cutie, what is up? A legend from the community. Wonderful to see you. Starting with an oh boy and then just dropping Merrick. So real. Shout out Merrick, big time.
Watch out.
Get it in.
Let's go.
So, do you guys want to talk about the Veil? And we talked about we're adding this as one of the hardships. So usually this comes on Death Knights. and it forces your units to sort of retreat back into sort of their base, and basically anywhere that doesn't have a building and it's sort of like parameters will become sort of ensconced in the Veil. But we talked a little bit that for Volatis, it's maybe not the worst thing in the world. And do you guys want to explain the mechanic of why it's kind of more palatable for Volatis?
Well, yeah. Well, if Vimsa wants to.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. So basically, Volatis, this is part of the whole faction identity where certain factions get bonuses for different things. And with Volatis embrace the Veil. So like they actually get power from the Veil itself. So when you're horrified, you actually end up dealing more damage. I think your attack speed goes up as well. Like, so you get quite a few bonuses by being the Voltus and engaging with a horror mechanic. But the negatives is that, like, some of the units we have are a little bit squishy. So they do die, like these occultists. Like, they can die quite quick. But when you have heaps of them...
Because the Veil does damage, to be incredibly specific. The Veil does damage over time, and you can run out of it. But if you're not paying attention when the Veil comes and your units are just standing in an area, 5-10 seconds, you'll see that army wipes.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that happened to Kyle last time. He lost like something like 15-20 units on Death Knight 3 in the Veil.
Yeah, exactly. Like it wouldn't... Exactly, like it doesn't mean you want to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to... sit in the Veil the whole time. Yeah. Like, you'll definitely have moments where, oh my god, they just love attacking.
Well, you did pick the hardship that is,
That's right.
Does it apply to these guys as well, or is it only elites?
Only elites.
Only elites?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but they know. They feel it,
They're like,
yeah.
do it the same.
It's an emotional truth that they hold. Cool, let's keep going through some of these comments. Thank you everyone for commenting. Thank you everyone for being here. It's good to see new people. It's good to see everyone coming back. Sorry. Oh, okay. How are you doing? You're sleepy, Keller? Yeah, shout out to everyone in all the Europeans, which is a large amount of our base, and the Americans who are getting up for these streams. They're quite early in the morning. Although, yeah, Cash AM, love from Queensland. Yeah, shout out Australia. Shout out where, we're from, but wonderful to see you. Yeah, Bakura Clan, that is really good early iron. It is only, 4 or something? I think it was.
There'll be 3.
Oh, 3.
But I've got, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, if you can get that, like, a quarry going on it early, you can start to tick up to getting a decent amount. I mean, not that you need to do it this early, obviously, but... it's like by the time you're getting it around, it's a nice little addition.
Yeah, definitely helps, especially with the hardships that we're playing with. So,
Cultist squishy as hell. Best little meat shields early game. Yeah, do you guys go for a bit of a cultist spam when you play Volatis, or are you guys more shifting onto sort of more sturdier units?
So I mean, I love Volatis because of Vizargo. I just like using Vizargo. But usually when I do play, I do tend to shift, I'll use Arbalists and Archers and whatnot. But, I do like the aspect of Cultists, like how when you do build them, like you get 2 of them at a time. So they're really fun in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Alan... No, we've got Keller coming out with a different take of I don't like cultists. Oh, not a different take, but they're quite useless. Damn, I mean, that's cold, but but I mean, that's one of the point of cultists is,
they're cheap units.
They're cheap.
Yeah.
You can just like pump them out. You get 2 for every one, so it's like, you can just have these sort of mass. And I mean, I think cultists are kind of at their best. So like Keller is an example of a Looney Tune that plays on 8.8. Yeah.
My goodness.
King.
Absolute king.
Absolute king behavior. But it's like, I think if you're playing on lower difficulties, like easy and normal, and you're like getting across the game, like they can do a solid amount of damage at those levels. And it's like, if you're looking like, oh, I need a solid quantity for my army to buff it out, especially having like a front line for something like Arbalists, or if you're getting siege towers or anything like that, siege equipment. Oh, perfect. All right, let's kick it back up.
Resend and restart.
Hey, one moment. Nothing happened. Everything's chill.
It's another day.
So, yeah, I mean, I think they can be like a lot more effective as like for lower level things, but for lower level players who are playing at those like easier difficulties where you just need units, you just need quantity and everything like that. Yeah.
Save. We should save.
Oh, true.
That's
Actually,
alright.
do we have the auto save or?
We might.
Yeah, check.
Low,
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
one-
no. Wait.
Oh, no.
Go back.
No, go back. Sorry, one sec, guys. Should be coming up in a sec.
Don't have it. Damn.
I like it.
Oops. I want a different color.
Sure.
Gonna change it up.
There you go.
All right, and it's back on the screen. Okay, so we picked those hardships. We can talk about which hardships
There
we
you
as
go.
well.
That's good.
All right, flying back in.
Flying back in.
Yeah.
Round 2.
Yeesh.
Round two. Hey, it's never happened.
My God.
I sacrificed them for the gold upkeep. Is actually a crazy way to deal with volatists, but I kind of respect it.
That is, yeah, I respect that.
They're glass cannons and units so that Vizargo can easily get XP. Does Vizargo get XP if like units die around him?
I don't think so.
I think he heals units with, was it every enemy he kills? So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, at night time only.
Oh, whoops.
Classic
Oh,
pausing.
classic pause.
Already?
Banned from the lobby.
Yeah, I'm so used to. I don't do it normally.
Yeah, that's strike one. That's strike one.
My hand slipped.
Ooh, Bakura Clan. Yeah, that's a good strategy of the TBH as a Merrick main. I love spamming catapults and flamers. Well, yeah. So I mean, you guys can talk a little bit about maybe like the factional differences. We've talked about like volatists, but like one of the things that the Order get is sort of bonuses to siege weapons. Do you guys like really lean into those factional things? Like, do you guys play a lot of siege builds when you guys do the Order?
They're pretty good. Like the catapults are like crazy powerful. Like
Yeah.
when you use them the right way for Death Knights, because their AOE is quite substantial. So
Yeah,
I
and the
generally think they're
knockback.
quite good.
The
And the
knockback's
as
pretty
well.
good, especially like knocking back all of the crushers at rush your base, which we love them, but hate them.
No, shout out crushers. Shout out crushers.
Shout out the crushers.
Shout out change of heart crushers.
But yeah, but like I do like the hunters. They're pretty good on the rebellion faction for like I guess a unit that no one else really gets. So we love them.
True. Oh man, the wood here is a bit. Damn, the previous map was good.
So we are playing, so if you're just joining us, we are playing on veteran difficulty with a couple hardships, but I just want to shout this out because, Commander Tyrell. Great game, guys. Thank you so much. Thoroughly enjoyed playing it. A veteran game with, a veteran with all of, or most of the hardships kicked my butt in the final stand. Veteran with all the hardships, or most of them, is, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. You know, I think veteran in general is like pretty legit. It really amps up for sure. Like
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I can't really speak to it 100%, but I think normal is like pretty palatable after like a couple runs. Veteran is definitely like, it really turns into a different gear. I mean, it's one of the reasons that like Horrific and Nightmare are unlocked. Locked behind it, where it's like,
Yeah, oh yeah, that's where it really.
that's where it like really kicks
Yeah.
off. But it's like to get veteran. I mean, Mario talked about it like in a previous stream, who's a senior game designer on the game, and they were like, "Oh, game designers and just people working on the game in general, you got to beat it on veteran before the internal team could take your opinion seriously."
Yeah.
Did you have to go through that as well, Lewis?
Oh, starting out definitely. Because yeah, I guess my focus was more on like campaign because like survival's already out. And when I joined, yeah, we were still working on the campaign. So
How long have you been on Edge of Darkness?
it's probably been about.
That is
like,
a crazy early gold.
Yeah, we love early
What?
gold. But we'll probably have to kill this thing to get it, which will be a little bit tough. But
Although
we
in
love that.
multiplayer, I mean, we've talked about before, you know, grouping up your units. You can take on you know, points of interest is usually the reference that we talk about way earlier. Might be able to take that blood crystal a little bit earlier. I mean, I think if you guys get a camp,
Yeah, we could do
maybe possible. Maybe.
We'll see how we go.
Also, it's like not like that gold is ooh, and it's like it's a ooh.
Early game strat, let's go.
That is crazy.
Not bad, not bad.
That's very, very cool.
I need stone now.
Yeah, sorry, how long have you been on the project for?
Yeah, about like 2 years. Helped out with Kill Knight.
Shout out Kill Knight.
Shout out Kill Knight.
Yeah, boy.
Released last year. Go play it. It's such a good game.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely go play Kill Knight.
And yeah, so we jumped on that. Oh, it's still there. It's cooking. That's good. And yeah, so I've helped out with the multiplayer, getting that out. And yeah, helped out with doing the campaign. That was pretty fun. So yeah, it's been on the project for quite a long time. I think Amsa, you were on it for like early start of the campaign.
Yeah, well basically I joined before our early access.
Yeah, that goal mine was not long for this work.
No.
It was audacious, but if it worked.
We'll get there.
Sorry, not to interrupt.
No, that's all. So
No, then I don't apologize.
Take it back. Yeah, early access. Right before early access came out, I joined on Age of Darkness and helped work on a lot of survival features. So stuff like the
Just gonna
factions.
switch these lights real quick, but please.
Cool.
Yeah, survive. So like the factions, the heroes like that you would get, like working on Vizargo and Aurelia, all that stuff. Because when I joined in, we only had Edwin.
Yeah.
So.
Edwin
And-
Aardvark. Or
Yeah, Edwin Aardvark. Fuckwad.
OG Edwin. We love him.
Yeah. So yeah, came on, and then after that, we started to work on a campaign, and I helped build out a lot of like campaign missions and whatnot. So I've been on the game for like, man, 2.5 years maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, very solid. Yeah, and if you are curious to see the campaign that we started playing last week, there's a video on the YouTube channel of us playing through it. We're going to play through the entire campaign. We're going to get some different people. I think we're going to be getting one of the people that did a lot of the audio for the cutscenes and some artists in as well. So we
That'd
have
be cool.
game designers, Mario and Amza last time. So it was really cool to hear their take on that. But we're also going to be getting, hopefully I think we can get Sean, who is the lead game designer, right?
That'd be great.
For some of the final missions as well, because I think it'd be really cool to talk about like how it ends and everything. So yeah, there's going to be an ongoing series of us playing through the campaign, as well as doing these like multiplayer games. So yeah, welcome. We're definitely going to be, talking more about things. All right, Alan has a take about Vizargo. That starts with the problem with Vizargo. So
The problem.
as a Vizargo defender, okay. The problem with Vizargo is that playing him with pikemen is that he does not have units to help him tank from range, and Vizargo easily has the most difficult early on maximum difficulty. Thoughts, opinions?
Wait, so it doesn't work with pikemen.
Depends who.
Doesn't have enough like frontline tankiness with pikemen, and has a lot of difficulty in the early game on max difficulty.
He is squishy. Yeah. What are you gonna say, Lewis? What do you
I was going to say, like, if you're versing particularly just like spitters and stuff, you definitely have to like go into it and like, I guess macro like the units around the spitters first to like really utilize like to not lose your units essentially. But yeah, like I don't have that issue, but I guess some
I'm kind of
people
like
do.
goaded, so like I'm not personally having a conniption.
But yeah, it's very
make sure
valid.
your
though.
lumber mill has people in it as well, Lewis, on the right.
Oh, true.
On the right.
On the right.
Yeah, on the right.
That's Amsa.
Oh my God,
Amsa,
sorry.
what are you doing?
I know.
Amza, you absolutely.
Waiting for stone.
Yeah.
Just
There
get
it
people on there.
There we go. Now
True.
finally.
What's the hardest difficulty you guys have beat the game on? Are you guys Nightmare Legends?
Oh, I don't think I've like tried to go crazy in Nightmare. I've done horrific.
Horrific stuff.
Yeah, horrific with some hardships I've done, which is always
That is
fun.
incredible, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can look at the like percentage of people that have those achievements. You can kind of tell by score and stuff. Like there's one achievement that's like beat the game with like 6 million score, which is basically you're doing probably horrific Nightmare difficulty with like 60% of the hardships. and it has 0.0% of people have it. So like, if you have that achievement, you are in the absolute minority. But it is aspirational. You know, it's there in the game to inspire people to become incredible. Yeah. No, but that's fair. That's very respectable. I mean, it is one of my goals to keep pushing away, plugging away at the difficulty. Are you much of an RTS person, though?
Yeah, I play a bit. I vary in terms of what I play. Like I'm really big into like strategy. So like Civ, I played like Frostpunk. I did like a whole marathon of that when I first tried it.
Yeah.
Got a big dub. So.
Shout out Frostpunk.
Shout out Frostpunk. We love them.
Yeah.
And yeah, good old Age of Empires 4. That's a good one to jump into. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm probably with you. Like, my RTS is probably more like Civ is one of my most played games. Yeah. I'm so excited for Civ 7. I've been circling that. I think it's technically out this minute if you bought the extended edition, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, Frostpunk as well, where it's like kind of those like I mean, Civ's not like an RTS, but like something like Northgard or something like Frostpunk, where they're kind of settlement builders RTS as well.
Yeah.
I really, really love, and that's definitely where my thing is. But I think my first RTS I ever played was Age of Empires 2. But do you think yours was Age of Empires 4? That's late to get into it.
Yeah, I was pretty like late, I guess, adopter of like RTSs and stuff. Like Age of Darkness was like, up there with like one of the first ones I really got into. So, yeah.
There's also been accusations because we have quite a good early iron along with that early gold. Even better than on the previous map that we'll never speak about again.
It wasn't good enough.
It wasn't good enough. It wasn't clean sweep. Again, devs be cheating. No, guys, we're not cheating. We're not cheating. Close the debug console. Close it. Oh my god, Bakura just said, I hope it's a Crusher nightmare. That
Don't say that.
that starts chasing us.
So mean.
And then Alan Rush correctly goes, "You're evil." Ha 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 ha. That is absolutely correct. Wishing upon an elite Crusher storming the base and chasing it down, especially in this early game. I mean, that's probably, it might not be a wipe immediately, but it would probably be...
It would be funny.
It would be an eventual wipe. Yeah, it would be a good LOL for the memes. Yeah. Send it.
Crushes wins all the time. But yeah. I could deal with like a crawler. We love the elite crawler.
Yeah, I could deal with one crawler.
Yeah, I can deal with that. Anything more? Yeah, we're scared. How you going, Amz? Look at your base. It's pretty good. You got the units coming.
I love a oh god as a response to how are you going. Inspiring company. And oh god followed by silence.
It's cooking. More houses, Amz. More
the
houses.
Yeah. More people.
I need houses.
You guys are in a solid position, I would say.
Yeah.
31 stone's good. 53 wood, good. Yeah, you guys have 53 and 54 wood, respectively, which I think is, solid numbers. There's pretty decent wood around. I would say 31 stone. Oh, it just went down to 19. Did one of your quarries die?
I hope not.
I would have to assume so if it just drops. Yeah, looks like it did.
Unlucky.
Unlucky
on the quarry, people.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think. How are you guys feeling about the resource acquisition now? We have that early gold mine, which to be conquered.
It's good. It's like, I think what's like getting me is like the veil.
I know.
I'm trying to build out. I'm like, I can't build out. I'm like,
yeah, it's kind of like suppressing us of like, doing anything at night, which is good and also bad, but slows it down though. So we'll figure it out, I guess, as we go.
I just want to say, Keller, who just said need some sleep, it's 4 a.m. Thank you for joining us at 4 a.m. You're absolutely
He's doing it.
Mental. But that's why I appreciate the Europeans being here. But there's some absolute real ones. Yes, good night. Have some sleep. Feel better and everything. KT Tristan. The stream distracted me and I lost my veteran run.
That's on my
with Queen of Nothing. Now I'm sad because I still have to beat veteran difficulty. I mean,
Good to know.
best of luck. Autosave with your friend Tristan. Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah,
Look,
where's that park?
there's no shame in using the saves. They are in the game for a reason. And it's like, they get minimized as you go up the difficulty. So, you get 5 at veteran. So it's like, yeah, use them. Use autosave, use those saves, especially when you're like trying to beat certain difficulties for the first time.
Yeah.
Put them at the different death knights, or like if you get to good stages, run it back, make it even better, and then focus on what you can do. It's also a good learning experience as well, because it's like you can start again and like learn how to improve your like early game, because like setting up your early game is really, really important for like that basis which you're going to be building off. But also like loading saves and doing the mid game again and the late game is important, especially if you're playing like solo and it takes you like 3-4 hours to get there. It's like getting that extra practice in with that late game to see what you can improve and to see like the level of nightmares that are going to be coming and the density of the waves. It's like by repeating them you have a bit better understanding of like, oh, I need to build up like this amount of walls, this amount of towers, this amount of units, and it helps you build that understanding. So as you're sort of planning, not just for Death Knight 1 and Death Knight 2 and etc., it's like, oh, I kind of need to be hitting these marks to know if this run's going to be successful, or to know I need to catch up, or I have X amount of say stone production, it's like at 30, I needed to get it by 50 by sort of Death Knight 3, blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, doing the like going back on saves can also just help you know what sort of subtle marks you need to be hitting. These gate placements are wild, and
I love my gates.
You're the first person we've seen use gates. Lewis, please.
You don't want to, don't want to understand my
No,
thinking and
I do.
process.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
please tell us why you're dropping gates.
Well, I find gates are cheaper and like cost wise against nightmares. So you like damage them. They've got more health compared to like the walls. Like you can compare it. I think it was one of the like 0.12.2 updates that we did a balance change with. I guess improving gates because they were like not as good as walls, and we were like, oh, okay, let's see if we can change some stuff. So yeah, I use gates like all the time now, and they're just funny to use essentially. And it's a good way to like fall back. Like if they're pushing this end and you lose like I guess territory, you can just keep on going backwards. And it's always good to like plan around, like I guess where you want to use them.
Yeah.
I know other people have different strats. This is my strat.
This is my strat.
I mean, it makes sense for
It's
like
good.
a heavy melee builds, like
Well, yeah.
like Aurelia is probably, or like an Edwin, I'm sure it would work well with. But this is also why I'm like, I love getting to see the devs play, because the gate meta just dropped is actually crazy. Like I can't. Gate meta is here. Like
Well, I don't see Am's putting down anything.
I'm not a game guy. I'm not.
no one's in game meta. I'm like you're.
Unfortunately,
unlocking
I'm
the
not
wall.
with the meta yet.
All right, let's do a little update. We've got 30 seconds until Death Knight 1. How are we feeling?
Oh, really good. I mean, I've sent some of my dudes off
Hopeful.
to help you out. He's like, Lewis doing all the high carrying with his gate strat.
Gate
And-
strats. Gate strats.
So, yeah, I think we'll be
More
good.
pike.
He's really good. What's the tower? And look at this crazy setup of houses.
You don't want to look at the houses. Yeah. They get messy.
That's a meta house strat.
Oh my god. I saw the most beautiful image. It was like I don't even know. It was maybe like 17, 18 like 17 or 18 different houses across, and it was perfectly 5 wide
yeah.
with 2 treasuries perfectly in the middle.
That's pretty
And it was
cool.
like the entire screen of just this like perfectly aligned, symmetrical
Someone's
treasury
been
house setup.
practicing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think we're
Really?
dropping it on the social media soon, because I was like, damn. Oh, now the walls come in. Oh, betray the gates.
No, you
I'm just playing. Gates only, no
Gates
walls.
only. Yeah, run.
Gates only strat.
Yeah, so what are you guys thinking? Do you guys want to talk through kind of your thought process as this is happening?
well, hopefully we don't lose while this is happening. Ems has got some archers in there. I'd like to understand why we've got archers.
I was like, hopefully you're building some towers for me.
Oh, well, no, I don't use archer towers. It's great.
God damn.
You don't use Archer Tower.
How are we going to handle the big
You
boys
don't need them.
when they come in?
Don't need. Just siege.
Cyrus mains are crying right now. you like detesting the idea of range units.
Like if you do, what's
Oh,
it called?
level up.
Sell that so we can get through. Like you can do the burning wall strat. That's always good.
Wow.
damn.
Lewis, you play differently from anyone I've seen. Yeah, using burning strat pretty actively is like a really interesting.
It just cooks them,
Whoa!
It does just cook them, yeah.
and then you drop the big bomb, and then you can whack them all low health. It's Aurelia strat. It's dangerous.
Do you think that, like, yeah, are you using like an Aurelia specific strat? Do you do the same thing for like other people, or is this more...
Oh, yeah, I think you can definitely do it with other people, but it's probably not as effective.
Yeah.
Because like, I guess you got that horrified effect, so you can stay in there for longer. The cultists can do like a lot of damage, especially like trying to kill the spitters.
God damn.
And then yeah, once you get like Dark Fury, you get like ×2 or ×3. It feels like damage.
That was easy,
so.
man.
I know. Yeah,
That was
it's
easy.
good. Easy. There we go.
Reset.
Didn't even
do you
need
wanna-
the ballista towers. Wow.
Yeah, do you want to pick and then pause and we can Amza?
Oh,
and then-
dude.
You're already done.
I'm getting on silent 100%.
Yeah, and then do you want to... Okay, so do you guys want to talk which... Oh, you don't have to pause now. We can keep going then.
Oh, no.
But do you guys want to talk through... that's fine. Do you guys want to talk through what you guys picked and why you picked them? So, Amza, do you want to start?
Yeah, I got basically Unsiley because now all the buildings will have extra vision, which is a godsend for the hardship that we're on, where, you know, now I can see a bit further, so when nighttime comes in, I can actually, like, get a bit more range out of this, so there's almost not so much veil is covering all my stuff.
Yeah, like to be super specific, like the veil encroaching, and it's like it is,
Yeah.
you know, repelled by your building vision. So by having that extra vision, you have less veil encroaching. And as you guys were talking about before, like one of the issues you're having with expansion is it's like the veil is so oppressive every single night.
It's
that
definitely pretty helpful with these hardships, which we love. But yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And then that is a really interesting. I wonder how narrow that path is going to be.
Oh, it's gonna be quite good, I reckon.
I think
for,
that is a really good choke. It's
We-
interesting if that is like a little lake.
It's like
I love chokes like that because
okay.
they usually you can stuff in, but also when you want to build like, you know, lumberyard there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
well, yeah,
Get some good wood.
that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Reminds me of like a golfing green, you know, curves,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
true.
buttonholes. But anyways,
The only way I know golf is literally from like Mario games.
Okay, right.
Mario
Damn,
Golf is
okay.
like one of the most underrated Mario games. Like Switch games to play with friends. Because it's like you actually have to get up and like swing. Well, you can just do it with the remote, but like getting up and actually swinging the remote. Oh, so much fun.
just yeah.
Shout out Mario Golf. If you guys haven't played it, play Age of Darkness, play Kill Knight, and then play Mario Golf. Those are the top 3. Those are the big recommendations.
From Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, yeah. Bit of golf.
No, that's from PlaySide directly.
Oh,
That's
okay,
it.
I love that.
Awesome. And then do we want to talk about the other blessing that we got?
Yeah, I kind of like sold, I reckon. I got like the all construction times faster, 10% faster. It's pretty good. I don't mind it. It's definitely pretty good for like repairing buildings faster. And like if you're building, I guess, a whole bunch of different defenses, especially like during night or like death nights, tends to be quite slow. So if you like want to boost that, you can.
Well, I mean, I can see that
Some
also
advantages
working
there.
well with your strategy of like if you're going to build a lot of like tier
yeah.
1 walls and then
It's-
purposely light them on fire, having them as like little explosive fire, like damaging things, and you're kind of using buildings in an aggressive manner, having them be able to pop up as fast as possible, I can imagine quite helpful. Is that like one of the...
Well, yeah, I like another thing is like if we get what's it called, change of heart, that's going to be like pretty essential, because I love putting down buildings just to like mess around with crushes during the death nights. So if we can get like with this pairing it up, I think it would be quite good. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, someone dropped a mention on that. They said, Cash AM, real, the Crusher converts are a godsend. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
awesome.
change of heart, getting a Crusher is...
Everyone loves that one.
It's so good.
It's
my favorite.
It's the best. It's so fun, and it's I mean, a crush or convert I think is maybe the most satisfying thing in the game. Like, maybe not satisfying, but like that feeling of like, oh my god, it popped. Yes, amazing.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
It's your time now.
LFG, we're doing it.
Yeah.
This is pod racing. All right.
Pod racing.
Alan Rush, my eyes hurt when I see burning walls.
It's so good though.
Every death knight means less experience for the hero.
Oh my
But then you got defended. Bakura Clan saying, let the devs have their fun. No need to min-max and vet. And I will say, Lewis, a lot of your playstyle does seem really oriented around like, I don't know, it's fun, LOL.
Oh yeah,
which
that's how I
really
play
respect.
AOD. When you play AOD for probably more than 2,000 hours, you have a bit of fun while you play, just to keep your sanity. But it's so good.
Yeah, I came and talked to Lewis yesterday, and I was like, hey, blah, 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 like doing the stream, and it just like was like listening to me as I talked, and then like with his like left hand on the mouse was like clicking through campaign, like going through and just playing and doing like micro. And it was funny to see the same thing with like Amza and Mario last week playing campaign and seeing you guys like autopiloting just the most dense micro. And
That's right, yeah.
and just being like, well, I've played this campaign mission again and again and again. Obviously, survival has so many more like different things that can happen. So like a campaign, you can kind of know the beats and be a bit more predictable. But it's definitely crazy to watch, like, you know, you guys who have hundreds or thousands of hours just like going, oh, I know what to do, this, and knowing the steps and hitting those marks so consistently. So I can imagine when you get into survival, you're like, let's change it up, baby.
Well, the funny thing is, you know, a bit of honesty here is like, you know, after AOD, when I moved on to Kill Knight, all my attention was like focused on Kill Knight. So then coming back into AOD, and like all the changes that have happened, like all the updates and how like multiplayer works, like it's much more faster game. So I'm kind of like, oh my god, I've got 2 knights. You know, it's like I'm veteran. You know, so it's
so true.
It's pretty intense when you come back.
But it's so good to like play with someone else though. That like hasn't played, and then you're like showing them all the cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, this is, you can do this. And like, what? That's great. Did you know? Here's my fact book about AOD.
I mean, yeah, that's one of the cool things about like doing the streams, I think, is like, because, you know, Playside's quite a big company, we make multiple games. Shout out Kill Knight. I don't know if anyone's mentioned it. Definitely get it. But like a lot of people at the company have worked on Age of Darkness over the last like 4 or 5 years, but are now not necessarily on Age of Darkness. And the team has kind of come in and out. So it's been fun to like talk to people. You know, Emzo, you're a really good example of someone who like worked on it for a while, back at a different portion of its life cycle, and is like, oh, coming back to the game and playing and gaining insights of different times. And you know, even now with like the 1.0 release, there are people that are coming back and onto the project in different ways, and it's really cool to see like the fluidity with the way that the dev team has sort of evolved, and having different people coming in and out of the game at different periods of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think 1.0 was like a big celebration for that. Oh my god, the gold! Can we
back.
reclaim it? Can we reclaim it?
Doing it again.
But 1.0, I think, was definitely a big celebration for so many people. Of its like, not just the people that are currently working on Age of Darkness, but there's a lot of people that have worked on it, and it's like, oh my god, like yes, this game is being released and stuff. Finally.
Which I think the best thing from like the devs' point of view was watching people play it on Twitch when we released it, and we like had so many people play it, and it was like so like, I guess, beneficial for us to seeing people play it, and we're like, oh, because they've been waiting for like the multiplayer for ages. So
because we used to have moments where we'd be like, no one's gonna do Nightmare with every single hardship.
Oh yeah,
it's like
oh, they're up.
It's like,
we've got the numbers. Yeah. And it's so cool, like, watch those runs too, like as devs. It's like learning and seeing what people do, new strategies with the meta, or like every time we change, I guess, design stuff, and seeing how that plays. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, and also shout out to the people that like played it through early access and were playing it 3 months ago and 5 months ago and stuff, and like, no, the real ones that were holding it down.
Yeah, you're the real one.
Yeah, absolutely the real ones. But I think like one of the cool things was as well is it's like seeing people play it who are like, you know, from my perspective of like, oh, who have like asked to play it and they have a 2-hour block, and then you see them playing it a week and a half later and they're 40 hours into the game, and it's like, oh my god, it's amazing to see that they got like hooked and they wanted to do for campaign, or they wanted to push and they wanted to get a veteran win, they wanted to get a horrific win. And it's like, there was a lot of people playing on Twitch who like were just like, oh, this is incredible, I want to get on it. Or a lot of people like jumping on this sort of trend of like, you know, there's a thing called Keymail where you can get free keys if you're a content creator, and that's starting to pop off before, but especially when it came out, all these extra signups of like, oh my god, I'm seeing Age of Darkness start to pop, and then getting on it. And it's like, yeah, it was really cool to see that rush and to hit new peaks on sort of all-time users and, you know, like players. Really sick. Also, shout out, we got a message about like 5 minutes ago from the stream software we use of 100 messages in the chat. I know I'm not going through all of them, and I will in a sec. Thank you everyone for, you know, talking in the chat and being around on Discord and active. And I see actually someone, Sharma, welcome. So what is this Age of Darkness team working on now? Any chance of an endless mode? Sharma, I just wanted to shout you out, and I'll answer your question in a sec. Because I've been seeing you in the Steam forums and everything, answering people's questions in the Discord as well, so I see you. I also saw you answering questions on a YouTube short recently. That's where I saw you, so shout out. Endless mode, yeah, so there's the team is very much, the primary focus has been on sort of a more immediate concerns with making sure that sort of like majoritively around bug fixes and tweaks, and making sure that the game experience that currently exists works in an optimal manner. So we're doing a lot of hot fixes and sort of patches in those regards that are coming out. With that, the team is very much starting to talk more about future content and what Age of Darkness looks like as it goes forward. And as has been true throughout the entire development cycle, listening to the community and what they want is been a massive part of what makes it into the game. Multiplayer is a really good example of people really wanted it, now multiplayer exists. Campaign, similarly, people really wanted it, and now it exists. But there's lots of small examples of like certain...
Press space, so get out. Get me out, Lewis.
Pausing.
Like lots of small things where it's like character tweaks, or, you know, like how units work or things like that, or certain like blessings and things have come into the game because of community sentiment. So like endless mode is something that people have asked for, and there's a bunch of different examples of things that we see people talking about and wanting, and, you know, if enough people ask for it and there is enough like interest, it will be discussed by the team. So like that's true with basically any feature or content update. But yeah, like that's kind of the answer for endless mode, is the team is very, very aware of it, and it's being discussed along with a bunch of other things. But yeah, if the community make enough noise about any single thing, it definitely gets pushed up the like how much it's talked by the team.
We got it.
What'd you say, Liz?
We got him.
Yeah. That gold mine is free for the riping.
Let's go.
Sorry, I fully just talked through that. But yeah, an impressive elite guild. But yeah, like, I mean, it's the same thing with like bugs as well. It's like, you know, if the community are being really loud about bugs, or like, hey, there's this thing, it's like, oh, okay. It's really useful for like identifying what's sort of happening with greater consistency and like where certain attention should be paid. So yeah, love the reports, love the feedback, and love suggestions on content. Like, please keep giving us like what you guys want and what you would like to see, and, you know, everything that's happening. We love reading it all, and as someone who reads it all, well, I try to at least. There's been a lot. I mean, I think I saw some we saw some stat, I think I mentioned this last week, where it was like in the Discord there was something like 45,000 messages sent in 2024, and in just January, so the game being released mid-January, there was like 30,000. So there was, yeah,
light reading.
a lot to go through. So it's amazing to see everyone talking and discussing, and, you know, people coming from Discord now to watch the stream. Very much appreciated, and we see the community, and we love you guys, and we appreciate you guys so much. And you are influencing the game. Keep up your chatter. I mean, okay, Cash AM, are you guys looking at expanding multiplayer to 3 to 4 players? I mean, that's another example of people have asked for it, and we've heard it, and it's like, it'll be discussed, you know, I think. Okay, how are you guys feeling about Death Knight 2 approaching? 4 minutes away.
Whoa. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be good. We
I
know.
think-
Ooh, path's going that way. And that's crazy.
I think I'll have to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Do you think down here? I think down here.
What?
By the other path, the other crystal at the bottom.
Oh, the bottom one. I didn't look at the bottom one. Did you look at the bottom one?
I think it was gonna be this.
Because the Veil Lightning displays, which is pretty cool. For,
Oh,
like,
you
this
got it right at
hardship.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So you like can just see it before it like comes. We probably should build like a watchtower so we can know where your one's going.
That's
But
definitely true. I might do that.
uh,
But do I have
I've done it. It's all good.
You
I
got
got
it?
you. I got you, Amza.
Oh my god. Where'd you put it?
On in between our base, so we'll see in like a couple
Yeah.
seconds. And plus we got the 10% faster building, so we're good. We're good.
I'm just gonna.
But yeah,
I'm just gonna hope.
you're hoping.
I'm just gonna hope.
I don't like that.
I'm just gonna hope it's this direction.
Watchtowers are your friend. Yeah, I feel like that's a really good take on like, I don't know how many like new players use watchtowers. Because I mean, especially when you're like struggling for resources so much, like I think it's like that information you're like, oh, I don't need it, like I may as well prioritize like a ballista tower or something. It's like something I see occasionally from the community. But I mean, I think watchtowers providing that specific information and like information just being so important in this game of like
Oh.
knowing exactly.
Okay, cool.
I can't build
Cool.
here. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think watchtowers are underrated, but like knowing exactly
here.
where to build and knowing where to go, I think is really, really, really important. Also, I just want to shout out Mazawi. Hey, welcome to the chat. Hi, how you doing? Similarly, welcome Angelo Trauma. Welcome to the chat. When I saw the game, it went from looks like a 10-hour game to I need to get that horrific win grind. And once you get that horrific win, you're going for that nightmare win. And once you get that nightmare win, you're going for that 8.8 win.
Yeah, you know what I'm
God
saying?
But I think that's thank you so much. But I think that it's been cool to see people who like jump on the game and then you just start to see them like pumping hours into it. And like, oh, I need to do more. I want to get higher. I wanna do more. Really, really cool. Hey, Greg Lang, welcome to the chat. We've got a couple questions. Do you guys want to focus up, or are you guys ready for an interesting question about a suggestion, a content suggestion, which I've never heard before?
Sure.
Or never fully heard. Or do you guys need to talk Death Knight strats?
I think your watchtower only does yours.
Huh?
Oh wait, no, does it?
No, it does yours. So it's coming down like the bottom left side, which.
Oh.
So I think you've got it because it will like hook up and carry along through here.
It's gonna go through here.
I hope so, unless it goes this way and then it's just this defending. So we'll figure it out.
Then
I
I'll
guess.
just add in a little bit of a.
Yeah, put it. Yeah, sure. That'll help.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just as long as you can get through, but yeah, we'll see how we
We
go.
don't need this bad boy.
Pretty light on.
Yeah, what was the
Question?
spicy question?
It's not spicy. It's like an interesting take. We have a couple.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Okay, what are your thoughts on a wizard guild where you can buy blessings, extra hero abilities?
You could buy like.
Well, like, what about like
Like
a
cool.
generic
building where
one.
you could buy blessings? Maybe it uses like crystals.
I mean, that's like an interesting idea. Like,
Yeah.
if it's maybe that could be like its own hardship thing where you actually have to buy the blessing, you have to pay for it instead of winning it.
Oh, yeah, it is a hardship. Is an interesting one where you only get blessings if you like pay them,
Yeah.
or like they have an extra cost associated.
Yeah,
I kind of like that, and fits more within the sort of current concept of the game. Same thing, you could apply that to hero abilities. Hardship, like you only get hero abilities if you like purchase them through like the training hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
There could be something. There could be something there.
there's something there. There's something there. Yeah, no, I love that. We were talking last week when we had Mario on as well, where it's like getting to theorize about this game. There is so much potentiality, I think. It's really cool to like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I think one of the hardest jobs for the designers, not to put words in your mouth, is picking like which, and maybe the team in general, is like where to focus that attention and where to focus sort of like which things we actually want to pursue and put into the game and everything. Because there's so many things that could be in the game. And it's like, where do we put that attention,
It's a tricky one,
focus,
yeah,
time,
exactly.
etc. All right. What's the strat? This outside your wall strat, I am honestly like low-key obsessed with the way that you play, Lewis. I think it is so funny.
It's so good.
It's so fun to watch you be so aggressive, and you've got this like wall stack out and like tower, and most people. Oh, perfect. All right, we'll load back up.
Wait.
Oh,
Can you save?
No.
no, you have to be host.
Damn. That's unlucky.
That's unlucky. Well, yeah, close and restart, and we'll get it back going. But in the meantime, we can go through some of these questions, and things like that. Yeah, little rip. It happens. It happens to the best of us. I have a question. Right now that I've played Vizargo Sentinels, they have 250 HP and 150 armor, while Order Knights, tier 2 melee units of the Order, have 330 HP and 65 armor. For you, which unit is more tanky? So Sentinels or Order Knights?
Wait.
So one has less health but more armor, Sentinels, and one has more HP and less armor, Order Knights. Like, how much do you guys prioritize? Is there any save?
We'll have a look. You got to join my game first. Then we can load and check. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, it's not synced yet.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. So I just gotta like quit and then
On the
relaunch.
fly, cloud save sync, something that we've seen people talk about before. I mean, we're getting to see Lewis to get to see your job in action.
Pretty cool. Hopefully it works. Let's go. This should fix
What was
it.
the question? Sorry.
Yeah, what do you guys think is more tanky? Sentinels? So, like, I guess a different question is, like, what do you guys prioritize when you do frontline units? Do you guys like prioritizing more armor or more health?
Ooh, like armor's good because it always depends on like, certain stats like that will help penetration. Who you're going up against? Like, are you having enemies that are going to pierce that armor a lot?
Yeah.
Like, so there's different things to consider. Like having more health isn't always better because you could just get like instantly horrified as well. And... will be good.
Yeah, we should be good. Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I like Sentinels just because they are like big bulwarks and they just kind of hold the line.
They do. Yeah.
And like they have high armor, so if there's going up against a bunch of like spearmen and crawlers and whatnot, like they can just push them back with ease. As soon as the marksmen come in, it's a bit more tricky because they start shredding.
Yeah.
But I prefer more armor over just heaps of health.
Yeah, I think you can definitely balance like the health with like light bearers, and like it's easier
The
to
healing,
heal compared to like doing armor healing.
Yeah.
Or getting back to where you want to go. Looks like we're Destiny 1. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Easy. I'll switch it. Go blood of my enemy because that's a go.
Oh my god, change of heart.
Oh, that's perfect.
No good.
Yeah, we might just be a bit more active with saving.
Yeah.
Probably just before the Death Knight.
Yeah, we'll do that. I reckon. That's smart. But yeah. Order Knights. I like Order Knights. They're cool. They're like mini Edwins.
This is a good question that goes
cool.
with that idea of light bearers. What kind of support units do you think the rebels need? Or like, what do you guys think support units for rebels could work effectively?
Like a brand new unit.
Yeah, like if we were to do like a new unit for rebels that was like more supporty.
Damn.
Like what would you? Pardon?
Design on the spot.
Yeah. No, we're just spitballing. Sorry, they did say for just spitballing. Like if we're just doing a.
Let's see.
I mean, we had a suggestion last week that was like trappers, which I thought was interesting. But when I think like rebels, I think because they kind of are a bit more DPS-y in nature.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily makes sense. Like I think something that facilitates that DPS could be interesting. So something that still kind of does damage. I think something that definitely amplifies like range could be interesting. Maybe it's like not like a surveyor unit, but like someone that like gives like extended sight for range units, or someone that gives like extended like map vision as well.
Yeah, like a scout.
Like a scout unit or something. Maybe.
Cool.
I mean, when people like ask about like having a cav unit in the game, could be interesting to have like, a faster scout unit that maybe gives like units within the sort of immediate surrounding more vision.
If I was to like spitball here,
Yeah,
like
if you were to spitball.
If I was a spitball, I probably would like something that's more like the scout, for example, has an ability where you can pick like an area nearby to like reveal like
Ooh.
some
That'd be cool.
area.
Yeah.
So that way it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can reveal here and be like, oh, there's a
You have like a
I can,
hawk or eagle.
yeah, like there's a point of interest.
hawk or an eagle is such a good idea.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff would be a lot of fun because then you can really start exploring the world more. The only
Yeah.
negative of that I can think of is that late game,
game.
it becomes kind of useless because you've explored everything. So so it's always like,
Early game good.
yeah, early game stuff is great, and that's why it could work. Is like just super early, you get scouts like cheap.
But it could also having a support unit that's like focuses on helping you in the early game is not the worst thing in the world, because Age of Darkness kind of is like, if you do a good job in your early game and you set up effectively, you're able to like really build off that. So if you're like able to scout, oh, there's iron, there's gold resources, like, oh, here's a couple points of interest I can hit. Like being able to focus on those in your sort of like exploration of the map
Yeah.
kind of sets up for your late game. So it like fading off in its utility later in the game is fine, because what it's really done is like set up for that that snowball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding like death crystals, dark crystals
Yeah.
would be pretty cool. Especially
Yeah,
like
work
if you're
out.
doing like, I guess, Death Knight runs or like trying to break them before like they explode, which I know people do for like horrific difficulty if they're like progressing quite well on like the map seed. But yeah, sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I reckon like an executioner unit, that'd be cool. So like a sentinel, but like just DPS instead of a shield. Just give him a big axe.
Give him a big boy axe.
Yeah, and see what he does.
I mean, like an extra, like a finisher unit that like,
For like elite nightmare disposals or
but like something that it's like, oh, when units get to like say 15% health or whatever, they're like
forgot.
one-shot units.
yeah.
Like that could be interesting, and it's like quite expensive, but like, kind of puts that like, but maybe that's only a single target, because like most
Oh, he was
the
just-
veil.
I forgot we were doing this again.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Like
don't know,
my
but-
gold.
Yeah, I don't know, something, because it's like so much damage in Age of Darkness is AoE, because there's like so many enemies. So having units that like are single shot but just like take people out at 15% health could be really effective. Or like could be a different play style as well. But maybe don't do like really any damage to units that are above 15% health. It could be like something fun to play with. Something there. We've got other suggestions. So there's a couple other comments that go into sort of like future updates and things like that. So I'll kind of read them all out and then talk about them. So, hey Greg Lang, hey, I just got the game on full release. Welcome to the party. And I'm loving it. Sweet. Been playing RTS games my whole life. Are there any new units, heroes, and or enemies arriving in the future? So I mean, we're kind of spitballing ideas. Also just got here, so not sure if that was asked already. Yeah, ask away, welcome to the stream as well. So, I mean, I mentioned it a little bit before, but in general, the team is definitely discussing ideas for future editions of things that we can do for the game, and all of those things, so new units, heroes, enemies, that's something that is being discussed, is what I was saying. So that's, once again, something that we see from the community, and anything that's raised by the community or people want, as well as like what the team think is the best direction for the game, because it's like, that there is that sort of as well, it's like, the designers and everybody kind of making decisions about like where they think the game can best be fleshed out in the areas where that is. But yeah, that's the answer, is it's being discussed. 100%. Similarly, I am RCA. Welcome to the chat. Hey, how you doing? Are there any plans to bring mod workshop support? I would love to make a World War II zombie version of this. I mean, that is an incredible take of what you want to do with it. Once again, mod support, workshop mode is definitely something we've heard from the community before. The team are very aware of that as an idea.
AOD with guns is what he's
yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that does sound kind of cool. Kind of like, I mean, maybe even World War One, where it's like trench warfare, and the swarms of people like coming over the trench. This, could be there.
Yeah.
Alan Rush, I remember an idea I read a while ago in the AOD suggestions channel. Yeah, check out the Discord. There's a feedback suggestions channel. Put everything there. We do, send them through. TJ, who's on the community team, shout out. I love you. he recently put in the chat with Mario and Yuta, senior game designer and producer respectively, that was like, here are the most upvoted suggestions. Like, you know, there is that direct line of like us organizing on the back end, comments that are coming and suggestions that are coming from the community and passing them directly to the producer and the senior game designer. And then I guess, you know, them deciding to take them to the team and which ideas they want to present, and that knowledge affecting like when you could talk about this probably more, Nicholas, of like when the team do talk about it, being like, oh, we have actually heard this from the community a lot and things like that. So yeah, chuck them in that channel because they get seen and they get talked about. Yes. What would you think of light bearers having the mechanic of removing the veil at night? I think it would be OP in some way, but I found the idea curious.
We did have that as a bug once.
Yeah.
And we were like...
halfway there.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. It's a little idea, you know, they could hold a torch and as they move through the veil, it's like the clearance is moving with them.
Yeah.
I think what we liked just as a... just what to come together was just they don't get affected by veil when they're in. I'm not sure if that got changed or if that got removed out. That was in the old one, I remember.
Yeah, I think they definitely get affected by veil.
Yeah, I guess that did get changed.
But I think,
Old design.
I think Mario mentioned where it's like it's one of those things which is like really cool conceptually.
Yeah.
But when you start to actually give like units like their own very specific conditions and where things like can affect, it can just be like a bit too many things, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, what for? I mean, another interesting example of that is giving certain units certain conditions in campaign versus survival, and there's certain ideas of like, oh, this would be really cool, but when you're trying to like create that, I mean, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know, but I know engineers have talked about being like, oh, that can be tricky. So there's a lot of things like that when it comes to ideas which are really cool and then go into practice or like get attempted, you know, or like looked into. Yeah. All right, how are we feeling about round 2 of this setup?
Okay, better.
Better, you reckon? Oh, okay. I think I'm playing slower.
Oh, no. You're on a roll.
Yeah, I was on a roll last time.
Absolutely locked in.
Now I'm getting destroyed.
But you got that gold mine back. We managed to take that elite, and once again, I just yapped through it, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you're getting a little bit rinsed now.
Yeah. Good old spitters, we love them.
Get him off the tools. Get Sam Cole in.
Sam Cole.
Shout out Sam Cole. Lead engineer? Senior engineer?
Yeah, he's one of the lead engineers. Like manager, I guess. Like senior engineering manager.
Yeah.
That's helped us on many projects. Also, you know, led lead engineering manager on Kill Night as well.
Yeah,
so.
Absolute legend. I was talking to him the other day, because he was going to be on the stream. He'll be on a future stream. And I like asking people like, oh, what do you like, you know, what have been your focuses on in the game? So like, you know, I just have a good understanding. And I was like, oh, what have you like main things you've been working on? And he was like, well, I worked on the campaign editor. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, but realistically, I work on every aspect of the game.
Yep.
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
Fair enough. Definitely, you know, crazy to just see how across so many different things he is. So shout out Sam Cole. Here in our hearts.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, this is, you guys might know a bit more about the seed system. We can talk about it more generally. From Chalmers' comments, are maps on multiplayer procedurally generated, or is there a set amount of seeds to randomly select from? I've come across the same map several times. That's very surprising.
Yeah, that's pretty
lucky.
surprising.
I mean, you guys can talk about it, but the answer is no, they're randomly generated, and there's not a set amount, right?
No. Very like, it should pick a different seed. It's just a very unlucky scenario. Or it could be like maybe you had maps that were just very minor in differences, which is also very rare. So
yeah, one of the things I do like about Age of Darkness is the wide variety in how different the procedural generation is. Like, I mean, having things like we talked about getting like gold this early in the game being like crazy, but it is cool that it's like it can happen. Like even having iron, like sometimes you'll get iron with like in sight of your keep, and you're like, oh wow, like that's rare, and it's like, oh okay. what does it mean for me to have like more iron this early into the game, right? Or if you get like lots of iron, or if you have like a lot of stone early in the game, you're like, okay, maybe I go for more of an archer build because I just have so much stone around. And I think it is cool that it's like the builds are kind of varied, and you will see some like pretty drastically different. I mean, it's mostly in like the resources. That's like the main difference that's going to affect your playstyle. That is so bold, Lewis, putting a building right in front of nightmares.
Unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky. Who could have predicted?
I got one though. So he's cool. He's chilling. Big vibes.
Oh yeah. You did it for the conversion. You did it for change of heart.
Yeah, he's helping out. He's gone.
Pappy, welcome to the chat. AoE enemies seem too powerful. It distracts from base making because you need to be more active in managing units, especially melee. So, bursters. Thoughts and opinions.
Burst.
I love them. They're so good.
Yeah, they were like a fun unit to make because they change up a little bit, like just how you think about some of the enemies. Like for them,
And just building in general. It's always like you got to anticipate when they're coming for like death knights and stuff.
Should we drop a save?
good point. Yeah, get a save in there.
Save. We love a save.
Love good save.
Saves. Cool. Carry on.
Let's go. Yeah, it's like I've actually forgotten the question.
Yeah, like what do you guys think of like AoE enemies being like too powerful? So I mean, this also I guess applies to like crushers. I just like shouted out bursters because bursters are like
True.
I think the classic of that.
Yeah, bursters. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, like they're interesting because they're really fun that they they have different ways you can deal with them though. So if you put them on fire, you can do more damage to them, and then like when they explode, they can damage nearby enemies. So
and yourself too.
And yourself as well. So I think that's what
close.
makes it really interesting if you can build enemies like that. So even though they're just big sponges or enemies with a lot of health, if you can subvert it in some way, like that stuff's really fun.
I mean, I think one of the things that we see in Age of Darkness a lot, and what they kind of lean into, is there's a lot of things like that which require a little bit more attention, and it's not like constant. So like another example would be like the Veil, where it's like it pops up, and if you aren't paying attention, like they can do a lot of damage. Like bursters, if you're not paying attention, like they can start to roll you. Or if you have like a melee army, you just send them towards a crusher, like you can lose your army like really, really quickly. And I think it's just like it kind of punishes you being dumb, but more I think often is the case is like lazy or like dropping that focus. And like when you know what to do and like the little micro around it, it's not that hard to do. Bursters, you can just like send one unit in, or like all of your units, you put them in, you make them explode, you run them out, and you're fine. Like the actual micro is like really easy to do. Well, not really easy, but like easy enough to do basically every time without doing taking damage. Same thing with spitters. It's like you're seeing Lewis pretty effectively like not really take much damage from them, go in, go out. But it keeps you on your toes, right? It makes sure that like is an ever-present threat. So if you do like slip up, or if you do just kind of, aren't paying attention and just like send your units in, like you're gonna get punished, especially on the higher difficulties. And sort of like, I think it makes you keep your attention and makes you keep focused, and it makes you like stay locked in. And also leans very much into what is like kind of the mentality of a lot of playside games. I mean, something like Kill Knight's a really good example. Shout out Kill Knight, hasn't been mentioned yet.
We love Kill Knight.
But it is that mentality of it's like, these games are like, punishing, and there is that like skill ceiling, and it's like, to be able to really like conquer them, you need to be kind of playing at that high level. You need to be on your game. And it's like, if you want to play on those easier levels, like you won't be punished quite as much. But if you want to be playing on horrific or nightmare, it's like those are the sort of errors which you need to like get out of your playstyle. And if you slip up like that, you can be punished. You can recover from them, and I think AoE enemies are a really good example of that sort of mentality. How are you guys feeling? 1 minute left on Death Knight. How are we feeling prep-wise?
I hope Ames has got the back door covered. Okay, that's all good.
I've got you.
He's still it.
Oh my god, Abs, you've gone for gates as well.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the gates meta is taking off. Everybody can't stop talking about gates meta. Everybody loves it.
Love me a good gate.
yeah.
It opens, it closes, does all the right things.
Can we get a gate in the chat, please? Yeah, everybody loves gates. Community's favorite building.
Oh, yeah, like a good gate. All right. Now,
Hopefully we've got this on lock.
I just want to read out this evil idea by Mazawi. You know what we need? Random hyper bursters. Bursters that actually move extra fast.
Sonic bursters. Insane.
crazy man.
And then we're joking, of course. Yeah, that is insane. And then Charmer went bursters. I hate, but it's a necessary evil.
We always have like a funny idea of like like an elite burster.
An elite burster is
like-
actually.
And then when it explodes in like many little bursters. Like, almost like, you know,
Let's
that
go.
big fear that everyone has, you know, like you see a mother spider with all its eggs.
coming.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's definitely one of those feelings.
I've been playing another very good tower defense game called Ember Ward, which I actually can very much suggest. And they have a spider enemy that like launches little spider enemies.
Oh,
And it's like a defend your fire kind of thing. And like often, too many times have I defeated that spider only for 6 to spawn, and then they do 6 damage to my keep, which you only have 10 health, so that's a lot. So shout out Ember Ward. Shout out Mario Golf.
There we go.
just never end.
Yeah, we like games. Like, it's not just about playside, but shout out Kill Knight. Shout out Thrive. Shout out other games as well. Shout out Garbage Truck Simulator. I think you're kind of cruising.
Cruising.
You're looking good, Lewis. Level 5 for a level up is pretty good by Death Knight 2.
Yeah,
It's pretty solid pace. Looking good.
Okay. I think Lewis is a choice of the Blood of My Enemy is great, just to get some health, a
Oh,
bit of
it's
healing
so
in there.
good.
Do you want to explain what Blood of My Enemy does?
Yeah, do it. Do it, Lewis, since you picked it.
Ah, true. So when you kill enemies, there's a 10% chance of them dropping like a heal buff on the ground, which is very similar to light bearers.
And that's
Their
how
heals.
easy it is to deal with
Just push them away. You just
Versus,
gotta
yeah.
keep them at hand. Don't let them in the house, or just keep them out of the house. But yeah, so like it's pretty good, especially with Volatus units because you play so forward. But yeah, it's cool. It's up there with like one of the, I reckon, best blessings you could pick if you're going for like a melee build.
Come on.
No.
Oh,
I pressed Dark Fury. Unlucky. We
Um,
got to
Fury
say,
then.
let's jump it back up. But looking good. We've got that save going. Not an issue. We'll get to Death Knight 3. We're going to make it through. Yeah, okay. In the meantime, we can keep reading out. Hey, welcome to the track, Crick X707. Elite Burster equal tactical nuke. I mean, I think if you really did have an Elite Burster, you would have to be sending in like 1 melee unit and just sacrificing them. Like, it would just be like everybody backs up. You just take one person down. You just like let them.
You gotta send him in.
You gotta send them in.
Yeah.
Although maybe like range builds wouldn't be such an issue. You would just be kind of cruising, being able to take them out. How about bursters that explode on contact? I mean, that is also ruthless. I mean, that would just be you gotta sacrifice.
Impact grenade. Or
Yeah, you just gotta sacrifice one person.
It'd be so funny if, Change Your Heart happens on a burst. Like, okay. Just
Turns around.
send it off.
With the Rose, yeah. I mean, we could talk about the crashes. There's currently one of the things that we're looking into pretty dedicatedly is crashes. There is a patch coming out in, spoilers, but if you hear you're a real one, there's a patch coming out in the next hour and a half, which is very much focused around crashes. I mean, like, the team are very aware, and then Lewis, you can maybe talk about how much you have been focusing on that, and the team have been focusing on it. But yeah, this is definitely something we're aware of, and hopefully the next hot fix deals with it a lot more. But there's a couple things that we've been focusing on internally. Some of the key things that we're aware of from the community are desyncs in multiplayer and crashes as well. So those are things. And like I said, hopefully, this next patch that's coming out very, very soon, should be today, will be addressing this. So yep, that's what I'll say on that. But we also appreciate the support and feedback we've been getting from the community, of people sending through screenshots and crash logs and saying like, how can I help, like giving specificity to the scenarios and where it's occurring. Because that also, I mean, Lewis, when you're sort of investigating those things.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Having like all the information from, I guess, the reporter and like community members. I guess, yeah, jumping into Discord and like asking any possible like workarounds or fixes. Yeah, like we're always, I guess, having a chat internally, trying to figure some stuff out, and also, yeah, talking to Alex to troubleshoot some of the issues. But yeah, other than that, it's been quite, yeah, easy experience from like going through that whole process. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and a good example of something that's like, oh, okay, useful that we might see on like Steam discussions or in Discord is something you've posted here going, my game has been crashing when it's been paused for too long. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then QA, look into it, test that, see what happens. And then, you know, it can go through the sort of requisite engineering after that. But we're back, you know, another death night. People have been asking for more death nights in multiplayer, and this is how you achieve it. Yeah, I mean, I think this has been a pretty successful MP game so far. I think you guys have been doing a very good job. We're going to get to the end. I mean, maybe I'll finally actually unlock Horrific on this account, which is going to be exciting. You know, and then I'll set up some other devs in the future to play on Horrific, and we can start to, you know, get that ball rolling.
Do a nightmare on 1 or 2.
Yeah. Start to push the 8.8. I mean, one of the things I would actually love to do is play with one of the community members that does.
It'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
To play with someone from the community that does like 8.8 runs and really have. You know, a dev talk to those sort of like high level community members who are playing the game in a way where it's like, I mean, Mario's talked about it a bit, but it's like, oh, you make a game and you kind of have like X level of expectations, and then you kind of in the back of your mind go like, I reckon people are going to push this game, and then seeing how the game is like pushed and like the mechanics that people take and are able to just like do in ridiculous directions, and the certain things that are like really on that hidden basis is crazy. And there are certain people in the community that have definitely gone like absolute hyperspace with things, which is so cool. So I would definitely be keen to get someone who's actually, you know, a dang ass freak at the game to talk through what they're thinking. That would be really cool. But I mean, check out some of the people. Swedish Goblin is one. Crunchy Weasel, you know, you can check out their streams and stuff that they've been putting out on their YouTube channels if you want to see that really high level, ridiculous gameplay. Which you're getting to see a little bit of today. I mean, playing on Veteran is absolutely no slouch behavior.
Alright, it's time. Here we go this time.
Here we go. This is it.
I ran into this weird bug where the game ends when my keep takes too much damage. Yeah, that is a bug that a lot of people have.
None of us here.
Yeah. I've never seen the defeat screen. I've only seen victory screens.
Yeah.
It also keeps pinging, this pinging bug.
Yeah.
I have this, I experience a bug where every time I see an Elite Crusher, I cry. That one gets me a lot.
Issue.
Yeah, it's a skill issue. Have you ever thought about somehow adding a special wave that has only elites? Kind of evil, but it could be, it could be interesting. I mean, one of the hardships has elites in
spawning.
Spawning.
Yeah.
But it could be
Pretty
interesting
consistent.
with like having a wave that's no crawlers, no like axemen or spearmen. It's like only, I don't know, 17 elites. And that would be like a very different type of, I think, strategy maybe?
Experience.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah,
Like that's really like, you know, single targeting rather than sort of the default approach of sort of going AoE damage a lot. And I think so many of the heroes' abilities would just be like way less useful. I mean, you talk about Aurelia, you talk about that we're seeing now. It's like you've got Crystal Bomb, you've got, you know, Flail, and it's like those aren't massive damaging single target attacks. They're okay, but you know, so much of the strength is in that AoE damage. Alright, good defense so far. Amza is currently training units, having an absolute chill time.
Just a chill guy.
Mate, I didn't realize like how insane. Yeah, I'm just a chill guy. I didn't realize how insane you did go into the cultist bit. So for context, Amza has 2 archers, 2 sentinels, and then I don't know, 36 cultists.
Yeah, it's all about that cultist spam.
And meanwhile, we have an Aurelia build that's 23 pikemen and 1 cultist. And I'm pretty sure that cultist is just
He's
from
chilling.
the beginning and hasn't died yet.
He's been chilling.
Very, very different things. But the pikeman meta might be getting a little change. We'll see how long for this world pikeman meta is. Not to do too much spoilers, but check on the game on Steam vlog soon. Some interesting changes coming there.
Oh, there we go. Strain time. Woo!
Sire Washington. Ah, shit, we're back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Leave pikemen alone. Wait, don't hurt my pikemen. Hey guys. We're seeing get into a game now. Do a pikeman only build. Oh, pops. Nice. Shout out, change of heart, blessing.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, true. What is he doing? Yeah, I didn't even notice. Cool.
You didn't even call it out.
Let's get him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's not attacking me?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, cool. Big dub. What we got,
yeah.
Amza? What we got? Ooh, I like this one. I like
Next
that
dark
one.
crystals revealed daily.
Do you want to? Your units are kind of suiciding into that horde, by the way.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're okay.
They're fine. They're fine.
The auto stage just kicked off then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Do you guys want to talk about which blessings you just picked up?
Yeah. I got rigged defenses, so there's 40% chance the buildings will explode when I guess nightmares destroy them. So it's pretty
That's
good.
kind of crazy. With what's the other called? Blood of my enemy.
Yeah.
That's kind of a crazy like when you kill enemies and when your buildings are destroyed, you get healed. Like
Yeah,
you're really going
yeah.
for that.
with change of heart, so it's just like
Yeah.
souping up the I guess buildings, which is pretty cool.
I got a nightmare fuel, so you get like fully healed when you're horrified.
Yeah, which
so
is
like,
pretty good.
yeah, if you're constantly horrifying your
Wait, what?
troops.
Yeah, that's crazy. sorry. I was like reading a comment and then my brain like ticked over. It was like.
So for example, like I could go in fighting a spitter and it like AoEs
Heals
me,
you.
but it just heals me.
So that's a really good, I guess, counter to like AoE attacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love that.
Love a good counter.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really interesting. You've got 3 that heal you. Like,
We just don't die. This is a no die run.
yeah, no, but getting fully healed when nightmare, especially with the Voltis, is just like kind of a bit bingo bongo crazy. Should go hard. But I mean, that's one of the cool things about like the different synergies that exist in the game, where it's like there are certain sort of collection of blessings and units and whatever factions that have really cool things that you can start to get, and when you get them all together, you're like, yeah, maybe this build is so strong. And it's like, even though Age of Darkness like isn't a roguelite, there are certain elements that do lead to like quite different playstyles and experiences game from game, which I think are really cool. And Blessings are a really good example. This is a good question. I mean, the answer is being looked into, but when is crystal hijacking the camera being removed from co-op? I mean, it's something that you can turn off in the menus in single player, and we've heard people talking about it for co-op. Once again, it's a classic, like, the community has been heard. It is being discussed by the team. But yeah, just want to acknowledge that we have acknowledged. Oh my god, I never realized you had a gold mine there. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm seeing it. That's crazy. Let's go.
Pisidian. Oh, sorry, it feels wrong. I feel like I'm so bad at pronouncing names.
Poseidon.
No, but it's like...
Oh, he's changed it.
I mean, how would you guys pronounce that?
Pisidian.
Yeah. And that's the same image as Charmer. So I don't know if Charmer, you just came over from YouTube and started watching on Twitch, but welcome. Hey, how's it going? Absolutely love the game. Or maybe you just have the same image as someone on Twitch. That's very funny if you did. Absolutely love the game. Been playing non-stop since 1.0. Just wish there was more faction variety, unit, and unique faction defense. I mean, I think that's one of the things where, once again, that is being discussed by the team. But as we kind of talked about, I think there is actually more variety than people kind of understand. And Age of Darkness is one of those things where, you know, there is a lot of numbers in the background that aren't necessarily told to you by the game. But it's like, if you want to look around, like you can go on places, like someone posted on Reddit a really good screenshot that was every single unit in the game and what stats they have, for the different factions, because certain units will have different stats with different factions, which if you're just playing the game and picking it up, you might not necessarily know that, right? But once you start to play the game a lot more and you get into that sort of higher tier, like what are the actual numbers, I'm doing that analysis, you start to recognize. So something we talked a little about earlier, and Keller dropped in sort of the specific numbers, which is like, oh, siege units for order get 60% more damage when emboldened. And you're like, oh, okay. So when you play, you're going to much more look into doing siege units for the order. Volatus siege units, I don't know, you guys might do them a little bit, but I can't imagine that's sort of like a primary thing that's going to be in the build. And once you sort of recognize that, like another example is picking up I can't remember the name of the blessing, the one that gives you full health when horrified.
Yeah, the nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's like you're probably not necessarily going to pick that if you're the order, because you're looking into an emboldened build, especially if you're playing someone like Edwin, where you know,
He emboldens nearby people.
Emboldens the enemy and prevents them from being horrified. Like the goal is to make sure you never get horrified, right? So that's not a very good blessing, and probably just not going to be like activated much at all. But for Volatus, it's incredible because you get bonuses to sort of your damage and other sort of like other tweaks to your units when they are horrified. So you actually are looking to be horrified. I mean, and then there's lots of small things like that, which as you play the game more, you realize that even though you're playing with the same units and playing with the same buildings and stuff, the variation is a lot more. And I think it's pretty classic for people to like pick up the game, figure out like a play style and kind of do that regardless of which heroes they're playing and regardless of which factions they're playing. And as you learn the game more, you realize like, oh, there's actually way more diversification I should be doing. And we talked about before where like Lewis was doing a build where I was like dropping towers and lighting them on fire and doing like a gates meta, but being like, oh, this is probably kind of most effective for Aurelia. I wouldn't necessarily do this so consistently with other characters. So, I mean, that's definitely something we've heard, and we know that people sort of want greater variance as well. But I do think that variance comes as you get into higher order of playing. And we're also playing with hardships in this game, which is another way that you can change up your play style and do different types of game. And you're not just coming back doing the same thing. Like, I think once you play on the higher difficulties, you can't just have a default play style and do that at the same time every time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not really gonna work. You guys have takes on that absolute monologue I just went on?
Yeah, what Alex said.
Yeah. No, that's so fair. That's so fair. I mean, that's why I like to chat. I like to talk. I let you guys focus on the games. And this is also why I was like, we did it with Kill Knight, but at least for Kill Knight, it's like you're doing, and shout out Kill Knight, hasn't been mentioned in this stream yet. Pick it up. Yeah, like having me not play so I can talk and I can slap the old gas bag. So useful.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just to summarize your point, it's like, yeah, it's like all that variety that you can choose kind of how you want to play, like what you want to do, what faction should I pick, and then I can pick the blessings that really work well with that faction, and like really adds to that variety that you can experience. So.
Which, yeah, and then I guess multiplayer just like expands that with like you can try and do team up abilities, like play same faction, get bonus like the I guess stats with some units, and yeah, or play multiple factions and do different I guess strategies for destroying Death Knights and Crushes. So yeah, it's like sharing that I guess those strategies with like other people. Makes it a lot more fun experience by him.
I didn't realize that.
Camps gave units to both?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Based.
So, you might want to shout out.
Where are you on the map? Down the bottom.
Yeah, ping. Yeah, I mean, Deleuze, have you found a favorite synergy in multiplayer, or like have you played with one that you're like, ooh, between two heroes?
Yeah, I do like the Aurelia and like a Cyrus build because Cyrus stays back. He's also got like the range which covers, and then Aurelia can just go straight in. And yeah, it's pretty fun. And plus you can like send Dark Essence to, I guess, factions that normally would only get them from like Elite Nightmares or like Elite Nightmares. Or Dark Crystals. Because with Aurelia you can like farm pretty much flail whip when attacking special enemies. They drop 1 Dark Essence, so you can like sort of like experiment with that, and then expand like the skill tree to get like some of these cool bonus abilities that you probably normally could get or wouldn't get on like survival if you're just doing like a casual run. Yeah, there's definitely like different pathways to experimenting with different factions.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things is it's like there is good synergy between the different factions. Yeah. So like having 100%. Someone like prioritize, as you said, like maybe they go more of like a range builds and they like pick someone like Cyrus and they focus on that, and especially like I'll build the towers, or like and I can transfer them to you, or like I'll build towers and you can put your archers in there and stuff, or like I'm focusing on like siege and things like that, and you focus more on melee, and you kind of like splitting it up like that. I think it's cool that is good. Should we also just drop a save in the middle now? Just make sure we kind of keep that up.
Yeah. Easy.
Cool. But then also, like, as we're seeing here, like, we can do Volatus, and then you get something that it's like, when Horrified you heal, both heroes and both armies sort of benefiting from that, it's like, cool, there's synergy in like doing the same faction, and there's synergy doing different factions, which I think is really cool. That kind of works both way, and I can't imagine was like necessarily planned, obviously, because the heroes were picked when it was a solo game. But it is fun that the game kind of ends up like that. That building site coming online. Hamza, you may be able to speak about this more. I mean, I can talk about it, but my favorite hero is Cyrus. What's the lore behind his missing leg?
Oh, damn, where's Mario when you need him?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very Mario question. Shout out Senior Game Designer Mario.
Yeah, I don't want to... Like, I wasn't too deep into his creation of his backstory. But
make it up,
let's go on. But basically, he has a deep love for Alice and Fenny's Queen. He was like this gifted archer where he was amazing at everything he did. He was a sharpshooter. He could never lose a battle, basically, and that was kind of like his pride as well. And then what happened was, at some point in the battle, he lost. He got like an arrow to the knee, and then he basically.
Wow, that's hot. Shout out Skyrim. If you guys haven't played Skyrim, definitely pick up a copy. Pretty good game.
Yeah, pretty good game. Play it on your fridge.
Yeah.
It's on everything.
So
only play it on your fridge. Don't play it on any other console though.
Yeah. So and then he basically got injured, and then as a result, he now is half the man he was with his skills.
Yeah.
And so it takes like a hit to his ego. So he kind of had to suck it up that now he's not always the best.
But he's pretty good in the
he's
game.
still pretty damn good in the game.
He's
that volley.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was talked about, Mario's also talked about, like, there is that lore element, but then there's also that, like, mechanical element of, like, okay, he's an archer, he has, like, this really good range. What's something that we can give this character to sort of balance them, right? If he just has, like, really fast movement speed, especially, like, something up to, like, Aurelia, then being ranged and that fast is a bit unbalanced because... Cyrus may be arguably the strongest character in the game. I mean, certainly it's been argued.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And it's like, okay, what's a way that we can balance that? We can make him like limp and go slower. And then it can also be kind of like that, figuring out of like, okay, then what's some lore of how he became a limpy boy and how he became slow. So yeah, Mario's talked about before, it was a bit of column A to column B, column B to column A. It wasn't necessarily like one came first. Not to put words in Mario's mouth, but to hopefully reiterate points he's made before. And if you want to hear Mario speak, check out our previous streams on our YouTube channel or on twitch.com. Um,
Favorite Italian.
yeah. He's up there for me. How are we guys feeling about, the current builds?
Pretty good.
I
was actually panicking because I was like midway fighting doing some fight, and then I actually aggroed an elite, and I was like, this thing's gonna keep following me, so I have to kill it now, and I somehow managed to Serenity and kill it. So
big bonus.
so like, oh my god.
I'm trying to cycle through my resources in terms of like getting it on the map instead of holding it in my inventory. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment, which is always good. We love that. But yeah, just trying to find areas in the map that I can just chill. Oh, Ems has got some enemies.
Yeah, I got a
base.
little
What are they doing?
sneaky pester wave.
We love those.
I love those. They just
You get you.
such a pest. Oh damn! I lose my farm and then you build on top of it.
This is an interesting idea. This is an interesting idea. Oh, sorry, I should read out some of these other comments as well.
Yeah.
So Washington said, so I noticed there's a few check marks added to the suggestions section on Discord. Should we, by chance, look into that or not? I mean, yeah, I think, as I've mentioned before, like, so much of the focus in this sort of, like, first 3 weeks has been focused on, like, making sure that everything's, like, working correctly and, like, getting things online and that sort of optimization and all of that. But as those things sort of get more and more sort of...
Oopsie. Pressing that space.
Second strike. As those things kind of get more looked at, there will be sort of a bit more of a reorientation and discussion about sort of future things. So yeah, suggestions and stuff from the community, as we've talked about, is something. So yeah, like, you can look into it, but we've also been pretty honest about, like, yeah, like, the team is going to discuss future content and stuff, and we love hearing stuff from the community. So, we will it gets sent to the team and looked at, basically. Wow, 2 first-time chatters at the exact same time. Hey, Wicked, I assume that's how that's pronounced. Hey, Wicked, welcome to the chat, and hey, Biscuit and Gravy, welcome to the chat. We can start with Biscuit and Gravy.
I love biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and Gravy 21. How dare I?
21 biscuits and gravy. Okay.
Yeah, they're my favorite duet. Oh no, that's 21 pilots. Is anyone having issues with synchronization and multiplayer? It is one of the things that we're looking at and focusing on. The team's very aware of it. So yes, people are aware. The team is aware. That's a crazy way to spell Wicked, by the way. W-I-K-K-Y-D. Love it. I've played with my buddy, and he found Cyrus leveling absolutely pops off once leveling up a bit. Oh, Cyrus absolutely pops off once leveling up a bit more than other heroes. Most of them are fairly fine, though. I find Edwin's first 2 abilities to be fairly insignificant. That's a take.
That is a big take.
You don't like his flaming sword or his, like, diagonal fire strike?
When he's level 10, he's pretty good.
I think those are incredibly good abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely, like, you need to get into the thick of it. You're taking out crawler style abilities, like, but I think they absolutely can, like, rinse through units. I mean, I think maybe they're slightly less good for Death Knights and, like, Final Stand, but I think they're incredibly good at, like, clearing out points of interest. You're playing with absolute fire there, Lewis. That's crazy.
We're going in.
There we go. You're fine.
Oh, there's people behind.
But I think his abilities are, like, really, really good at, like, clearing out points of interest and like camps and blood crystals and stuff. Where it's like you can kind of get out, run.
Fall back.
Yeah, Wicked. Edwin level 10 is meta. Yeah, absolutely. Like, getting Edwin to level 10 is cracked. Hey, but respect your opinion. Even if I disagree, and I'm banning you from the chat.
God damn.
Never insult order in front of Carl, man.
Are there hero reworks you guys would like to consider tweaking? So, I mean, I think reworks is... there's going to be a couple... So, there's a patch coming out soon. And it's going to be the first one that has changes to unit numbers. coming out. Let me just check real quick. I don't think there's anything to heroes at the moment. No, there's nothing to heroes. Oh, there's kind of something to heroes. In that there's some slight changes to loyal guards. But this is the first time since release we're starting to look back at those sort of number tweaks. It's mainly going to be focused on sort of there's various hot fixes and stuff. I think it's predominantly around crashes, so that's the focus, and those are going to continue to be the focus. But when we talk about like changing numbers on heroes and stuff like that, and changing numbers on units or buildings and things like that, like those are things that are starting to get a little bit more attention and love again. But yeah, like I said, the focus is definitely around fixes at the moment. But same thing when we talk about content. I think tweaks and changes is like the middle point between new content, and that's starting to become more of a focus. So yes. Do you guys have any personal tweaks you guys would like to see? Like whether they, like as selfish as they are, where it's like, I would love if Vizargo got this buff because I like Vizargo and I want to see that. Like, do you guys have any like things that you don't necessarily even think would be good for the game holistically, but would make your personal gameplay experience better?
Should be careful saying this when Mario's not around or Sean, but for me, like, I wish I could make like a few little changes to Ayla's, just because like I love active abilities, like, like kind of like Vizargo style, the thorns, dashing in, very like aggressive, whereas Ayla's is a different style. She likes to buff, she summons allies to help her. I kind of would want to give her more like active abilities that you can like, clear some waves with. So that's like some little change I would love to do.
Yeah, but I hear that. But I think it's
I
also
didn't say
like,
that.
I think it like, but I mean, like Ayla is an interesting character where she kind of like is inherently a bit more of a support character.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, whoa! I mean, what a nice did you get? I mean, Sentinels did you get?
Sentinels? Got a couple, two.
That's pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Good. What would you?
I'll take that.
Yeah, 2 Obelisks and 2 Sentinels.
It's alright.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, and I mean, I think she like leans into like different play styles and stuff as well, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, not to take away from your design, but I think like
that's why I think she works for some people. I think it's just the style that I like is different. So, I always always happy with how she came out.
I mean, okay, shout out Poseidon, who did say, I think the game is perfectly balanced. Thank you so much.
Damn.
I mean, way to get into the devs' good books. Thank you. Lewis, do you have a sort of selfish tweak that you would like to see?
I guess more cool buildings. I know cosmetics. That'd be pretty cool.
Cosmetics would be cool. Yeah.
It's like, I guess you could customize what your houses look like, or like huts, or bridges. Bridges has always been a funny thing.
As someone, okay, that is like the most unsurprising suggestion from you, as the only person I've ever seen to use gates. I feel like if bridges got added to the game, they would be like your favorite thing. Everyone's like, why are we using bridges? Although bridges do make a lot of sense, because there are like a lot of like water patches and stuff that are cut off, so it would give you like new access routes and things. It would definitely change up, like, I mean, where Amsa is at the moment.
Look at me.
Look at me. There's like a perfect example of it's like, 2-3 tile water that goes on for about like 15-16 tiles. After this, if you want to look at it so we can talk about it specifically. I mean, an interesting question would be like, if nightmares can also use bridges, because if it's just you, there could be like
just burn the bridge.
Yeah, just burn the bridge.
Yeah.
I think it's a really one of the biggest. You kind of hit a point there where the reason why we haven't done it is because how do our enemies interact with stuff like that?
Environmental.
Because you're changing pathing.
Yeah.
So when you change pathing, does that now mean the enemies have to? Can they use that, or do they destroy it, or do they now use that as their Death Knight path? So
yeah,
it's just kind of a lot of questions.
Yeah, and then it's like, I assume there's going to be like a trickiness where it's like, even if it's like, oh, okay, if the path's available, they'll go path A, and then if it like gets destroyed, they go path B, and it's like, well, what happens when half of the, horde managed to get through, and they're on path A, and then another half is on B?
Exactly.
How does that work from a sort of engineering perspective?
What does that look like?
Yeah, what does that look like? How is, does that kind of take away from the sort of like you've set up for different chokes and things? And especially, I think it can get a bit messy. It's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, it's always fun. Like, I mean, the thing about this stuff is that it's always possible to do. I think it's just more the sort of like, what are we solving here? Like, what are we, and like, what are the actual negatives that come with it?
Oh my god, someone just did at Playside Studios. Was such an aggressive thing to drop an at us in the chat. Add in ranking leveling system. I want to earn XP. Yeah, I mean, I think a meta progression system, which is I assume what you're referring to rather than like just the in-character game leveling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely interesting as a concept. I don't know, what do you guys think about having a meta progression system or certain discussions that have possibly been had?
Meta progression, yeah. Like we talked a long time ago about the possibility of like factions having their own progression, so their own trees that they could invest in. So they're things that really benefit them. That's something that would be interesting to talk about. See where that could go. But yeah, I'm not too sure. Like at the moment, kind of where the team's head is at. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily that's definitely not a top priority, but it's definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah, and it's talked about.
Yeah, it's been talked about, and I mean, I think one of the things with Age of Darkness, I mean, it's the same sort of thing with Kill Knight, shout out, where it's like, I think there is a level of like design philosophy where it's like creating more, like the games are very difficult and challenging, like, and it's one of the cool things about like Playside is like, oh, we want to make games that are like very legit, but there is a level of like mastery or like level of like solve and a level of like, oh, you figure it out. So having more consistent gameplay experiences. So it's like, oh, one of the challenges is figuring out like exactly how to like keep going up that difficulty, keep getting that score multiplier, starting to deal with like hardships and things like that. That's more of the philosophy of how players can progress and get those like extra hours in the game, rather than sort of more of a natural, like if you just play the game more, you will inherently have an easier time because it's like you're in a sort of leveling system where it's like all your units do extra 5 damage. So if you have like 50 hours in the game and you've like unlocked half a tech tree, everything's going to be easier and simpler. It's like, no, there does want to be like a consistent, all the pieces are on the board that you kind of have access to the first time you play the game and the 100th time you play the game. And it's about increasing your knowledge, increasing your ability, understanding mechanics better, and learning different techniques and stuff and getting faster and more technical, rather than it being kind of like roguelite-y and having a meta progression. So if there was to be one, it would probably be more associated without actually like changing the core gameplay experience, and maybe this is not inside goss or anything, but maybe it's like, oh, you unlock more cosmetics going through a system where it's like things like that.
Do a save first, just in case.
Yeah, great call. So let's do our annual check-in of Death Knight's kicking off. We're 4 minutes out. How do we feel about DN3, baby?
Not keen at all.
Not keen. It's crazy.
Not keen at all.
I think. What do we got? Which directions? So you top. I'll probably have to take this one on the right, or you got the one at the top.
Oh, do we not have a watchtower? Oh, big group. Oh, I'll place this down here so we know.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk.
Yeah, I'll go top. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right, what are the thinking? So you guys are splitting up, going top. It's interesting that they're both coming from the same side.
Yeah.
Ish. And when those watchtowers pop, I mean, I guess the dream would be, and it seems unlikely, that if there was a central choke. I think it's very unlikely.
I don't think so. Not for this one, unfortunately.
Is there any sort of... No, it looks like all 5 are going to have separate chokes, right? Yeah. That's unfortunate. I mean, that's just kind of map seed. I mean, also, one of the cool things that we've been doing... oh, yeah, I can answer this very quickly. What settings are on? So this is veteran difficulty, and we've got the hardships I don't remember the names of them. I remember they do. Do you have
Yeah, Encroaching Darkness and Dangerously Familiar. It's like top left.
So, Encroaching Darkness means that every single night the veil appears rather than just on Death Night.
Yep.
And what was the other one called? Dangerous Familiar. So, elite enemies will just like track you down when they see you, never ending. Rather than like usually you can run away and they back up. So, yeah. Veteran difficulty with a couple hardships.
Which we've been quite like lucky with the Dangerously Familiar because they haven't like really gone too far out, or we've stayed away a little bit.
But I guess I feel like maybe you guys can speak to it. It's like just knowing that it's on, being like being more conservative and careful, and like knowing that it's like if you do accidentally like proc their rage, aggro them.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
Fair enough.
When?
I lost the thing.
Yeah, I mean, very simple answer to this. Have you thought about adding more playable heroes? I mean, I think everyone's thought about that.
I have thought about adding more doors.
Yeah. When a tier 2 gate's coming along.
Oh my god.
Putting gates like that is crazy, man. That is abominable. That is wild.
Judge
You could put a wall and you put a gate sideways that is inaccessible.
It's good.
Trust the process, guys.
Absolutely trust the process. I mean, I love game meta. I think it's the funniest thing. It's so ridiculous. Oh my days. Okay, there's some epics in here. Okay, Poseidon, I've now found out, is an absolute real one. It's a little bit back. I've 8.8 Edwin many times. Tough and buff hero. Okay, wowza woozy. Multiple 8.8 victories on the same character is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you for being such a dedicated fan of the game.
Oh no.
Alright, 30 seconds. Anything you guys want to discuss? Anything you guys want to shout out? Any concerns and queries? Oh, got to get more gates down.
Oh, I think they're coming this way. They're not going to the top.
Dude, I got I got my tier 3 gates.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gate meta.
Struggles.
There we go.
I need to go down here. Buy some
Oh
stuff.
my lord, is this even? I think have I made a mistake?
Names are making mistakes.
Is there enough?
Or like
We'll be
Lewis
okay.
making mistakes.
I got the Arbalists to take down the big boys.
Let's go.
That was always my strat in the old days. It was just literally Arbalist builds and just making sure that they were there to take down any scary guys.
Arbalist builds are still strong.
Yeah.
They still work.
Oh, we're good. They're going up top. Let's go.
Okay, cool.
We're not losing. Huge.
Yeah, this is good. Alright.
Where am I going?
Perfect camera placement. Love to see it. Went for a bit of a wonder. You were so confident. Alright, Amza down bottom. Lewis is literally like having a good time, stroking his chin. Amza's doing some pretty intense micro. Not too crazy, but definitely being a little bit more intense about it. I feel like bottom's maybe not under bigger threat. I think you guys have set this up pretty well. I mean, I'm definitely feeling confident about it. Kind of cruising.
Ooh. We'll get through.
Level 7's good by Death Knight 3. Good level up timing as well for second monitor you guys can't see.
I need to not do that.
Oh. We got Exploding Horror. That's so good. So when that kicks off, we get instant full health. That's so cool.
The funny thing, yeah, I've actually like got my. You've got your fire tower, so it's just healing me.
Oh really?
Nice.
Let's go.
It just like
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, no, I do wanna shout out. We are joking about, so yeah, Withered Rose. I asked 2 weeks ago about gates and got the answer that playing with gates were a bit more for noobs, and now there is only gates.
Wow.
I mean, I think that's I mean, only gates one of my favorite websites, but no, I mean that's why I'm so surprised that Lewis does it, because I think gates are something that like players use really early and then they start to go to a wall only strategy. So the fact that Lewis is playing with them so religiously and only using gates is hilarious. And and he, I mean, gave a good reason why. Just they're kind of a bit tougher and they allow for like more like in and out for melee units. Which if you're using a tougher melee build, it's a bit more effective.
I might need a bit of help.
Oh, I mean, you both kind of need a bit of help. Or bursters.
Oh, they instantly died. Let's go.
Nice. Yeah. So. Oh my god! No, we'll come back. We'll come back. But now we know.
I can prepare that.
yeah.
It's so true. We love it. So good.
Yeah, shout out OG.com.
Whatever that is.
All right, yeah, we can answer some of these. Yeah, we can talk about this question. We do need more gates. Yeah, that was the problem. There wasn't enough gates in that build. Poseidon. So, yeah, Amzy, you might be able to talk a bit about this, but I can speak on it. So, I've always wondered about some of the LGBTQ plus characters. Did I misheard Aurelia had a girlfriend in the campaign? That'd be cool. So, I think in general, we can definitely say that Playside is a very pro LGBTQI community. That's something we do care about, and we're very pro that in a lot of ways. I mean, do you want to necessarily talk about some of the considerations that have been made? I think there are some sort of subtle references and indications in the campaign that's expanded upon.
I'm not from my memory. Possibly
I don't know if I've ever heard specifically about Aurelia having a girlfriend.
Yeah,
but that is a fun ship that I think can be headcanon for sure.
Aurelia Alias.
Yeah, Aurelia Alias, for sure. I mean, no, I think just in general on that, I think that is definitely something that Playside is totally happy for fans and things to talk about, and it's something we're very pro. So just wanted to shout that out. But yeah, I don't know how much that has really been discussed officially by the team. I mean, this is an interesting suggestion, and Lewis, maybe you have takes on it as the gate enthusiast. The game needs to stop auto-rotate gates though, as they are more often than making them rotate in the wrong position and trying to correct them by making it go back to being wrong. I mean, do you feel like you have difficulty with the placement of gates, or do you feel like you've mastered the system?
Well, I guess if you know how they work, then you can just play off it. But yeah, there could be some instances where that happens. But I think there's workarounds to get around it. But
so I think what you're saying is skill issue.
It could be. It could be. Just watch some videos.
Sacrifice skill issue. I lost 3 units to a burster.
You don't need them.
No.
Not where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things like that in the game where it's maybe it could be a little bit more perfect when it comes to how placement of buildings go and certain things like that. And I think, that's also the sort of thing where it's when we talk about feedback or when we talk about issues, it's a lot of the people say Lewis who are QAing the game or engineers and stuff, it's just so many hours in the game that those things might exist, but you kind of naturally and subconsciously just work around them and you're not even thinking about them. And there's that's one of the reasons community comments can be so good, because it's what is it like for someone who's never played the game to do, right? How are they playing the game? What issues are they having? What do they not know about, and what are they not learning about? Where it's if you know, you're just oh, that's a thing and you do this. Where there's certain things that might be unexplained, or the way that they are explained is a little bit less that needs to happen, and it's people are coming into the game and going hey, I don't really understand this, and everyone who knows the game intimately and played the game a lot goes oh, it's obvious, you just do this and this, and it is simple, but maybe it's not there. And something oh, rotating gates, it's once you know, maybe you whatever, understand, are you going to do the exact same formation running it back?
Yeah.
But it's that's why community comments and stuff can be so useful, because it's oh, what are you guys feeling and experiencing? And then it's oh, okay, what if we look into this? It's oh, maybe the feel isn't as clean as it could be. Blah, blah, blah. Is there a tweak we can make? And stuff like that. I was honestly alluding that Aurelia and Alias was something before Aurelia sent to the dark. I mean, yeah, let your dreams be dreams. I mean, if you need that to be a reality, I feel let that be. Could we see an additional more formation control, tank units in the front and spears behind. Really good example of something that we've seen the community talk about and that's being discussed, I would say. All right, how are you guys feeling about this? What tweaks have you guys made? Lewis, I feel like you've made less tweaks, but I guess one of the things you did is put less resources towards the bottom and did it more towards the top because you know they're not coming from that bottom choke.
Yeah, I've saved some resources for later. So I forgot to do the cheeky wall strat, where you just build a whole bunch of walls and then they explode, and also change the nightmares. So yeah, it's good. It's good. This
I'm a
works.
little worried. I think I...
Hamza, what are you doing?
Do you need an extra tower or two built by Lewis?
Yeah, I need some, like, maybe one more ballista tower.
Call for help.
Yeah.
It's multiplayer.
Hamza
Help me.
needs
Don't
help.
suffer in silence.
Sure, I can send you stuff. Let me get around to
I mean, you can also send resources through the
Yeah.
Bazaar. You know, there's options. I'm not saying that for the community. You know, if you want to help out your fellow multiplayer player, some of the options you have is you can build for them and transfer buildings, which you might not necessarily want to do because that has a gold cost. Another option you might want to take is going to the Bazaar and trading resources to them directly. And that way they can use your resources to build their own buildings. Yeah, never stop marketing. Heal tent might help. Yeah, a triage tent could help, but I mean, this is a build where there are multiple healing blessings. So yeah, I mean, it could partner well for that. It's not the worst idea. I mean, triage tents are good. But yeah, definitely building more walls. And one of the reasons, to make it really clear, that we're doing this is because we have the change of heart blessing. So when buildings are destroyed by nightmares, there's a 10% chance, is 10% right? That they
10%.
change to become your unit. For these smaller enemies, that's not super useful, but you're basically hoping that it happens with mainly a Crusher, but you know, one of the sort of more scary units, like a Wraith, I think would be another one. Or a Burster, you know, do that damage. But I think you're basically hoping for a Crusher. The other thing that Lewis is using it for is setting them on fire, which is just like going to be taking out small crowds of smaller units. Is it on purpose that you can't transfer buildings when using no selling buildings, no repair building hardships? I mean, I think it probably just leans into the idea of it's like, I think it's called permanent empire, the hardship, so it's not like a no sell hardship. So it's like if you are placing buildings, that's a permanent choice. So similarly, it's like switching between people isn't like a permanent choice, right? So I think that's probably the thinking behind it, which is like, yeah, if you put it down, that's yours, and that's committed. It is crazy to watch you so far outside the lines. How are you feeling this time, Amso? You're definitely
Very better.
feeling better. It's doing better. That second tier 3 wall gate is holding up.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness.
What do you think of change? Oh, my days.
Happy days.
So annoying. For those that can't see, my mine crashed.
Hey, so it goes.
Crashed.
You guys good to keep pursuing though?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Timing wise?
I think we've got one more.
Yeah.
One more attempt?
One more attempt.
One more attempt.
I mean, I think it's going good.
Yeah. I mean, facts. We haven't lost yet.
No, I haven't lost yet.
That's very true.
So this is a funny one, and I get the feeling I know what both of you are going to say. Run it back. Yeah, okay, so there's Desire. What do you guys think of change of heart so converted units don't die on timeout, but instead convert back to the enemy? I think that would be
Scary.
I think change of heart is like, the fun is having you get those units, especially when it comes to like a Crusher or those bigger units, and having that threat taken away and having that threat like reassigned to you is like one of the things that makes it feel so good. So like having it go back to the enemy, I think we kind of like take away from that like feel good nature of like, oh my god, I got this and now I'm able to take you out. And it kind of adds to that threat of it's like, I don't know, maybe like the micro of like, oh, I got a crusher, but there's not really anyone else. It's going to convert back. Maybe I just spend the 20 seconds it's going to be with me to yeet it into the abyss and give me more time. And it's like, is that maybe the most fun micro that you want to be doing? Or would you rather be doing, like, just, oh, I got a crusher and now it's on my side? And
I think the thing with that, the mechanic though, is that it does, what is it? It does, the health depletes over time of the thing that you converted. So if it was to go back to the enemy, is that the idea? Like it goes back?
Yeah. So like after it times out, it goes back to the enemy. I assume if
it would get health back because it basically it times out. That time is used through its health. So once it runs out of health,
yeah, that's a good point as well.
So I have to figure out like what does that look like.
This is an interesting. This is a good suggestion actually. Change of heart should not count towards unit lost on the score screen. I think that's fair. That's a fair take.
Yeah. Oh,
I reckon games that you play a little bit more out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
A little bit more out of your normal position where the choke point is, and you should be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Not gonna run it back exactly the same. I mean, and this is that you get to do it better and better every single time.
Yeah, it's it. Learning.
Another change I'd love to see to the score screen is having all resources I gained over the entire game be displayed so I can see what I gained. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Have you guys ever discussed that?
Oh yeah, like it's visibly always, so you kind of know like how you're going.
Tab out.
Yeah, that should be. That's a nice little some knowledge to have.
I mean, like even having like a bit more of a ledger system.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. Yeah, okay, with the yeah. Chuck it in the suggestions channel on Discord and then just make some noise about it. I think, that could get some traction.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I think it's one of the cool things. I think with any RTS, I mean, lots of games in general, and we talked a little bit about Civ, but it's like getting to see your stats and like how the game went. And I mean, I think the score screen is really cool where it just shows you some of like the major stats. But yeah, like one of the cool things is getting to see exactly how well you did. And I think it's cool that there's like, it's not just here are some key stats, but it's like, and here's a sort of like internal scoring system to rank that, right? Like, oh, you like did multiple points of interest, like there's some bonus points for that, and gives you like a little bit of encouragement to engage with sort of different aspects in that way. Which I really, really like. So, I think kind of at the moment, the only things that are displayed are things that directly relate to score, but there could be a little bit more stat like tabulation that's just for funsies, like resource gain.
Yeah. If we play with stuff like that, 100%.
Alright, do you think your first time going through Death Knight 3 preparation, you guys are doing it better or worse than a theoretical previous one? Do you guys think you're nailing the macro?
I think this is better.
Okay.
I think.
I'm feeling more confident, which is good. Using less resources. So.
Being called out a little bit, guys. What's the thought process behind no ballistas there for helping with crushes?
Don't need them.
I usually I usually put more like arbalists in towers because they can shred crushers and big boys, and then you can also change the targeting priority to be like strongest.
Yeah.
So that as soon as they come out, it just hones in on them, and that will like take out crushers way quicker than a ballista will.
All right. Locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Feeling good. It's going to crush, swish from deep, I believe.
Ooh.
Alright, we've got it.
It begins.
Flirting with putting a ballista tower though, or is that just a prank list?
Maybe. Well, I'm tempting them,
Call down, you're like, oh, maybe. Obelisks and Towers has been meta since early access. Well, I mean, that's why Nicholas is doing it, yeah.
I'm an oldie.
yeah. I'm an old head. It is crazy when people are like, yeah, I've been playing for like 3 years. And they're like, wow. Damn.
That's all I'm
Yeah. But they're still good. I'm still sad they were nerfed, but they're still good. Yeah, I mean, units go up, units go down. You gotta. There are tweaks and changes that are made.
Alive.
Circle of Life.
Economy.
Yeah. Nerf Genji. That's a hot Overwatch meme for all my Overwatch heads. Real ones, no. Although as like an anime, this is really, nerdy. As an anime, so a character that is countered by Genji, I love Genji nerfs. Get him out of there. Hate when Genji's strong. Makes it legitimately unfun.
Instantly.
Oh,
got a
yes!
crusher. Let's
My
go.
god, that's an amazing
crusher?
proc. That was first wall.
Yeah. That's why we do it.
That's what we're here for. For the love of the game,
Crush
baby.
it. What are you doing? Get
Yeah,
in there.
no, get back in the front line.
Get in
He's just
there,
hanging out, having tea, going to the triage tent.
Oh, my dude.
Yeah.
My dude. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's done.
20 seconds are up. Damn.
Yeah.
That's tough.
But, I mean, the bigger value is really from not having him destroy those walls.
Oh, yeah. Gives you more time.
Gives you more time, and, I think as someone said, I think it was Keller saying earlier, I was like, oh my god, destroying my own walls, like, you hate to see it, but it's like, hopefully these walls kind of survive, so for final stand after this, more of this setup survives, and you can invest those resources back into those chokes, which you did on, like, Death Knight 1 and Death Knight 2, which are going to be, like, way underdeveloped for a final stand.
Yep.
And instead of having to build up, the Death Knight 3 chokes, which theoretically should be more or less strong enough for final stand.
I always get killed by the bursters, man. Every time.
Nerf bursters.
Just gotta push him back. Just push him back.
Get him pushed back. Yeah, your army's become scant. You might need help. Lewis, you might actually need to...
Help me, Lord.
You might need to send some people down.
Yeah, mate.
You gotta cry.
got another
You gotta
crusher.
make some noise.
Another crusher for the dub. I love it.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh my god, your change of file is crazy. Send that crusher down. Send that crusher down. No.
Oh god, send me a question.
Yeah, you actually do need to send answer some units.
Okay, what are we doing, Amza? What are we looking? Oh my goodness. Oh, what
Yeah, you
is
might
it
have to send
all?
Vizargo and the boys. I mean, not Aurelia and the boys.
Amza's struggling. Build walls, Amza. What are you doing? Build walls.
So focused.
this is good.
Rick Pones Athene, welcome to the chat. Has a new patch just gone out on Steam for the game? I have an update. Yeah, so there was actually a patch planned. So it would make sense to me if that just went out.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, so now we can talk about it a bit more freely because I wanted it to be a little bit cagey. Because,
Oh.
Honey. Yeah, unlucky.
okay, unlucky. So with that patch, just stay on the screen, don't exit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's been another crash, unfortunate, and this is what the patch should fix. So
should
we
fix
could
this.
load up the patch, network error. Okay, I think with that we're gonna call it a day on the stream. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for the continued support. If you just want to open up Age of Darkness so we can have it on screen. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. There is a new patch coming out right now, which is going to be focused very much around game crashes, which, as you might have seen, been a little bit of an issue in multiplayer. Maybe a bit bold of us for playing it, but yeah, so that experience should be tweaked. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. It's been amazing. The continued support and everything, the continued feedback is incredible. Yeah, do you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, like it's really cool to see like how games evolved, but also just see how much people love it. It's really amazing to hear people come in and say how much they love multiplayer. It makes us feel really proud of what we've put out, and we really are happy that you guys like it. And if you really do like, you enjoy multiplayer and you haven't tried campaign, give campaign a go. Like campaign's got some awesome stuff in there. And yeah, give a try of all the other heroes. If you're brand new to the game, like each hero is very different, plays very different styles, factions are all different. So yeah, I really hope you guys continue to enjoy what we've given you. So thank you.
Yeah. Jump in Discord. Would love this. Always competitions going in there, which is always good to see. I think we did the art competition and got some pretty insane.
There's some pretty insane art. Yeah, the
artwork
winners
that
are going to be
came
announced for that tomorrow. We've just been sort of like running a little bit of an internal poll for the devs. That'll be going out tomorrow. There's other competitions like basically if you have a victory with either Aurelia or Edwin at the moment, and you can win a little nightmare miniature along with I think it's a $50 Steam gift card and a free code of the game, so it's pretty good. And it's like, it's random. You can submit as many as you want. Yeah, join the Discord, follow those, and yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah. We will see you next week. We're going to be back with another stream. Thank you so much. We will see you later. Bye.